If Love and Gogi is wrong, I don't want to be right.
What would Socrates say to that?
It tickles my fancy.
Okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not.
Wait.
Yeah.
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
They
don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay. Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still to the stars with the show, and till then his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm a lie about a motive. No proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him. And if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's like Florida. Gucci the large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. Hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever and cute as can be. You can watch on YouTube with viewing for free. Hey, this one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time wondering what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Morning, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM on a hump day.
Hump day.
We got a little Heat Lakers tonight down at Pat Riley Court.
I mean, two teams that are absolutely struggling.
Oh, dude.
Dude,
You're
it
not
might
kidding.
be 78-75 total.
It does look like Jimmy will be back though. Anytime he puts up his little
It does, like,
night shooting sessions, it will be it'll be good. And then what is it? That would be Jimmy's good off 3 days rest. That's
can we be honest?
Night for Jimmy.
Can we be honest?
Yeah.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It's not if Jimmy plays anymore. It's if he plays.
I don't agree with
what
that.
I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree with it because I don't think.
Why not?
Because I think first of all, you know, he's had plenty of performances this year where he's been very, very good. He's been very aggressive, particularly days he's had, 3 or more days off. I mean, that's been
but
again.
So you're putting in these parameters
Mm-hmm.
of when he plays. And whatever those parameters are, I'm just saying that I don't necessarily know those parameters when I watch the game. I just see Jimmy playing how he plays. So when I say if he plays, everybody knows what I mean.
I feel like what you're saying though is there are games he's not trying this year.
I did not say that.
What are you implying?
Well, here's what I would say. Those days where he's not feeling Jimmy, he's not aggressive. He tries to be more of a facilitator. He picks his spots. So if that's the Jimmy that's playing, there are going to be some issues.
I just told you 3 days off, dude. He's not going to be that guy tonight.
Okay, but that still doesn't take away from the point I made.
Feels like it feels like you almost felt yourself.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. When it get chilly, that chest compresses, and anytime there's any disturbance in the chest, you cough.
Do you want like a poncho or something, dude? Like you want like a?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Oh man, they're back in action tonight. 7:30. Jimmy Butler is questionable, but he was posting himself working out last night in the arena, so would look good for a comeback. Kevin Love and Josh Richardson are both questionable as well. No Nico tonight. He is dealing with an ankle injury.
It's weird that we see these guys with injuries, but they finish the games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you see them, or sometimes you see these little tweaks or bangs, you don't think it's that serious, and then boom, out for a month.
Yeah. Kel'el, this one was the one that annoyed me yesterday. He's been sent to Sioux Falls.
What?
Sioux Falls.
Who's coming up?
I mean, nobody. Keshad has been brought up, but it's not like they're not allowed to have Keshad up here and Kel'el up here. They just said, "Hey, big fella, go get some minutes."
And I know what Spo's gonna say. We want to get him some time on the court, and I'm like, there's a court on Biscayne. We don't need to send him to Sioux Falls to get him on the court. Because guess what? He can be one thing in Sioux Falls, in Miami, in Indiana. You know what he can be? Nobody else can be on this team. 7 foot.
Can't wait for him to put up 30 and 20 against the Milwaukee Herd tomorrow. It's gonna be great.
Wait. Did I just say this? How mad are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be furious.
Wait. I just think back to how excited we were.
I know.
Right? When they signed Kel'el, when they drafted Kel'el. And we're like, ooh, Bam, this gonna help Bam. This is gonna be Bam is struggling, the Kel'el's in Sioux Falls. Do we want to win?
I don't know. We'll see. They better win tonight because I got Podcast Boy in the building. So I definitely need to see the Heat beat JJ Redick.
I mean, JJ Redick isn't playing.
It doesn't matter.
Is Anthony Davis playing?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So let's get smaller.
Yeah.
Let's get smaller.
Yeah.
So, question: if we put Bam on Anthony Davis,
Mm-hmm. Yep. You don't have to do that. He's done a very good job against him defensively in his career.
Okay, isn't he averaging like 30?
He's actually been struggling too lately. That whole team is kind of stinking up the joint.
All right.
We have an intangible off today, of course, with Dalton Connect here and Austin Reeves. So we got another intangibles battle.
Oh,
but
right. I don't look. I would. I'm gonna say this, and I'm only saying it because he deserves my respect. But I'm gonna trust that Spo knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, that's what we always gotta say.
I know. While having some questions, I'm still gonna trust the best coach in the NBA.
Right.
I'm gonna do that. But at some point through all of his career, he's gonna have to trust young guys because the old guys are too damn old.
Stunt Steve says Tobin did call Ware a reach on draft night. Might be props up. Okay, you're taking that way out of context. Stunt Steve.
What?
I just want to be clear.
What?
I didn't call him
what?
I didn't call him a reach. What I said is based on all of the mock drafts because what's his face? Who did I do the show with? Who's that guy that I do Game Day Uncensored with?
Alejandro
Solana. He made me do a prediction at the time, and I think we were already 7 picks in, and Ron Holland had gone. And he took Devin Carter. His prediction was Devin Carter. I didn't want to match him. And so I had said, I like Kel'el Ware as a prospect, but it's probably a reach because I hadn't seen him that high on most mock drafts because everybody said he had a bad motor, and that seems anti-Heat. But I said the word reach with also praising a lot of his skills. You bastard, Stunt Steve.
Okay. I remember that. That's not, I know what you were doing. You were doing my draft, and that's kind of how you have to do it.
But
sometimes you have to draft a guy that might be, but he looks good on your team.
Yeah, and
yes.
Then they had said that they had done more work on him than any other prospect in the draft because of all of that stuff and the fact that he left Oregon and then went to Indiana. Speaking of, by the way, you know what I completely forgot about last night with the Canes loss? I completely forgot John Calipari coached Arkansas.
What?
And I completely forgot Dan Day. And the only thing that made me remember it was that Bam Adebayo went to go visit him yesterday.
The funniest thing, I had people asking me for tickets, and I'm like, why do you care about Arkansas and Miami so much? They're like, I want to see John Calipari. I'm like, not the president of the United States to see a coach stand on the sidelines?
See Coach Cal.
Coach Cal. Legendary matchup, Larinaga versus Calipari.
Calipari he just tweeted out an hour ago. Look who came to visit the game, Bam's mom. So, it's just Arkansas, huh? That's crazy.
It's weird. I know back in the 90s, Arkansas was.
I would have thought. I know
Nolan Richardson.
Kentucky's a rabid fan base. I would have thought that he would have retired there. I would have thought that.
Sometimes things behind closed doors. Sometimes things get to happening, and then a coach makes an exit and you just never hear about it. Because guess what? Was there anybody more loved in Louisiana than Orgeron?
Right. Yeah.
And
That was our guy.
and then all of a sudden it went sideways quickly. We start hearing little stories. We don't know if true or not, but then you could see, like, yeah, when they just say, listen, you want a national championship for us, we're gonna pay you, just go away. Like, something's up. They ain't even try to get some of their money back.
We get to headlines here, brought to you by Doral Kia. At Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia miles in inventory like the Sportage, Sorrento, and Telluride. Remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia. One other thing before we'll get to, obviously, the story of the day, which is the Hurricanes in the playoff. The Panthers lost to the Penguins yesterday, 5-4 in overtime. Came all the way back.
Came all the way back.
Spencer Knight.
I mean, like, does it happen right away, or is there some growth?
Hey, just had a shutout. It was just one of those nights.
Right. But no, I'm just saying, if for a goalie, does it happen overnight, or is there like a learning curve? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a learning curve. I mean, it was what was it? 40 shots on goal to 15. And he gave up a 5. He gave up a 5-piece, like
Jeez.
Paul Maurice.
So his percentage was better than the team they lost to.
Yeah.
Because he was like, guys, they are peppering me.
Paul Maurice was asked about his performance, and he's like, what do you think about Spencer Knight's performance after the game? He goes, I think nothing about it. I'm going to think about his shutout on the bus. I was like, all right, well.
I mean, 40 shots on goal.
Not for him, for the Cats. The Cats. He faced 15, 16, and he gave up 5.
Okay, so I flipped him.
You flipped it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Paul Maurice, he had the right idea. Let's think about the good stuff.
I'm not going to think about it.
I'm not going to think about it. Like, at what point on the other team they say, just shoot it. It doesn't matter. Just shoot it. Shot on goal, baby.
All right, we'll take a break, and we'll obviously get into the top story, which is your Canes. Everybody's furious. It's the number one debate topic out of last night with the CFP. We'll take a break back after this. Welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Want to let you guys know that a holiday favorite, the Nutcrackers, coming to the Arch Center December 13th through the 24th, and we got tickets for you. You guys can get in the holiday spirit. It's easy to enter this contest. Just go to WQAM.com and head on over to the contest page to register. All right, let's get to it.
I saw the Nutcracker last night
Did you really?
at about 7:15 when they put the Canes at 12. Now, can I say this? You want, if there is ever a chance, you want so much chaos in these championship games.
Mm-hmm.
You want absolute chaos. You want nothing stays pat. You want them to have to make some decisions. So, for example, if Clemson beats SMU, do they drop below you?
SMU?
Yeah, because SMU is 9.
Probably not.
Wait, SMU is 9, or are they 8?
SMU, if they lose to Clemson, they may drop below Alabama and knock Miami down even more. But
then why would you move?
It sounded like very much last night, dude. It sounded like Ward basically shut down the case for the Canes. Like there's nothing unless like two teams get arrested.
What if UNLV beats Boise State this Friday?
Right. That's what I'm. See, that's an automatic bid, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mountain West gets an automatic? I thought
No.
they had to be a certain ranking.
Oh, yes.
They're gonna screw.
They got to be the highest ranking team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the odds of it happening are pretty slim.
But again,
the way it made
my thing is you need chaos.
The way it was made to sound last night was the Canes case is shut. It's over.
But here's the deal. Okay. When you go to a football game and you know what the ramifications are,
Mm-hmm.
and you control everything that can happen to you, you can't say you got screwed after the fact. That's the facts of it. And no matter how much people say, oh, the committee this, the committee that, you know what? If you would have beat Georgia Tech or Syracuse, 2 unranked teams at the time, you would have been in. And
But this is the thing, Leroy. It's like, I don't disagree with you. Like, obviously, it was in the Canes game. I sent this on Monday. Like, you blew it. You have a 21-point lead. Like, if you don't make the playoffs, you can't really be mad at it about anybody. The majority of it, you should be mad at yourself. And we knew the Canes were very flawed all season, especially defensively. And we knew that this was on the horizon. The thing that bothers me about it, though, and the thing that annoys me about it, and really has annoyed me about this sport for a while since it's gone to this format of, even when it was 4 teams, is there are certain programs that do get to play by different rules. Right. And Alabama is one of them. Notre Dame is another.
Yes.
These marquee programs get to play by different rules than the Canes. Now, knowing that, you should probably put the emphasis on take care of your own business even more. I don't disagree with you. I just want to be clear about that. But what makes me uncomfortable as a sports fan, and it did last year with the FSU thing, is like, what really matters and what doesn't. Right. And it just feels like those 2 conferences, specifically the SEC, but now it's going to be obviously the Big Ten too, because they've souped up even more, is they get to play by different rules than everybody else. And you can't sit here and talk about what Alabama's losses are being anywhere close to as bad or Miami's losses being anywhere close to as bad as Alabama's were.
Now, I will say this. Alabama's 2 losses were way worse than Miami's losses. Because even though Miami lost, the games were close. And Georgia Tech just took Georgia to 17 overtimes.
And probably got screwed.
And Syracuse is now ranked. Okay? The two teams that Alabama lost to, they scored 3 points in one of them.
Yeah, to
So
Oklahoma.
you have every argument in the world. And I'm not going to even say what I've said from the beginning, because we have all acknowledged that to be the fact of this whole matter. But here's the problem. And this will always be the problem. Every single year the college football starts is that when every team in your conference is damn near ranked, and then you play each other, it makes your conference look better than it actually is.
Right.
And so
and
when
now,
you look at the ACC, how many teams were ranked? 2. Florida State and Miami when before the season started. Was Clemson in there?
I would guess Clemson was too.
Okay, 3. Nobody was ranked in the top 10.
Nope.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think FSU was.
FSU was 10.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at the Big Ten. I think they have 5 teams. One of them was not even Indiana, I don't think.
Their preseason, this was the preseason top 10 for AP. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, and Florida State.
Okay.
So the Big Ten had 1, 2, 3.
Right. Neither and
oh, I'm sorry, 4. They had Penn State too. So they had 4, and the SEC had 5, and then there was Florida State.
Right. So now that's not even counting the teams that beat these teams that were ranked way too high and moved up quickly. So what I would propose for all of this is you don't have a single ranking. You do a preseason ranking, but then you don't have one single ranking for the first 6 weeks of college football. None. No coaches polls, no nothing. Because all these teams beating up on each other in the same conference, when you evaluate them with how they looked for those first 6 weeks, they can't be number 2 and then still be at number 10 or 11 with 2 losses. They're done because they're never going to get ranked that high. And then start that way. But when you have half of the SEC, I'm a Big Ten guy, half of the Big Ten ranked in the top 15, and then some of them don't even play each other, they're going to stay there all year.
Mm-hmm.
And the other conferences don't even have a chance to get properly ranked. And that is going to be the problem year after year after year.
The thing that honestly, the guy I feel the worst for out of all this is honestly, I guess Restrepo too, but Cam Ward is the guy I feel awful for because
he's probably a long way to get to where he wanted to go.
Definitely. I mean, and it's not like this year was totally a loss because the guy basically went from a 5th round pick to a top 5 pick, probably, which is awesome. It's an awesome story. I wouldn't let him play in the Gator Bowl. I'd be like, hey, listen, don't play in the Gator Bowl. Hey, Leroy. If that game is in that godforsaken Orlando turf, I would not let him play.
Yeah, I got you.
There's no effing way. No effing way.
I got you.
But it's like it's just disappointing because he's had a tremendous year. It's just man, it's just the Alabama thing, and this has been my problem. This has been my problem. It's like I get it. They're one of the kings. They're one of the kings, and they get to play by different rules.
Let me explain something to you. Situations like this, people only become aware of when it affects their team. For the last 2 years, this situation has affected the ACC. For the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And again, the problem is if I rank 10 of your teams in your conference in the top 25 and you play each other, no matter how bad those teams are, you have wins or losses against ranked teams.
Yeah, it's a system that's only set up for a few. I compared it yesterday. I compared it to boxing because it's like if you're signed with the right promoter and you can get moved the right way, you can get set up for the big fights. If you're never discovered and you're not in the club, then you really can't. And there's only 2 clubs right now. Like that's the issue. 100%. If I'm gonna blame Miami for what this issue, yeah, they get 95% of the blame. It's on them. But let's be real about it. They're getting screwed or they're getting on the outs for another team that also didn't take care of their business worse.
Right.
So that's the thing that I find the biggest nuisance about it. And, this committee just seems like they make it up as they go. They're like, well, how Miami ended the season, but also who Alabama beat. I'm like, well, which one is it? I'm kind of confused by it. Like they get to go up the rankings because they beat Mercer.
Here's the thing. If you use that argument with me of who Alabama beat, then you also have to do who they lost to and how bad they looked against 2 6-5 teams. And you can't have one conversation without having the other. You can't have the conversation of who they beat without saying they scored 3 points against Oklahoma. You can't have it. And if you ever let that into you, how can a top 12 team in the playoff score 3 points against a team that nobody ever thought had a chance against Alabama? See, with Georgia Tech and Syracuse, you knew the problems they posed. Okay? Ask Georgia.
Oof.
Syracuse is the highest scoring team in football this year. So, you have 2 losses to those 2 teams. And I give you Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. Just based on that. If nobody brought that up in the committee, shame on them. Because those 2 losses matter. However, if you know the system is rigged, if you know the circumstances of your getting to the playoff, and you lose, knowing that all you have to do the last week of the season is win against Syracuse and you're up 21-0, you can't say nothing to nobody. Nothing.
Dan?
I just don't like the fact that, like, well, Miami, it's all on them. They have to take care of business. These other teams didn't take care of business either.
Right.
So it's like, oh, Miami, they let it get away. Well, I mean, Alabama, you let it get away from Vanderbilt and
Oklahoma.
Right. And everything. There's only one. Is it Oregon, the only undefeated team?
Yeah.
So, like, it's okay for other teams to have a built-in loss here and there, but Miami doesn't get that forgiveness.
Right. Like if this was years ago and if there was an undefeated team that was like that leapt Miami and it was like from another conference and make it, Boise in this situation, right? Like I'm not gonna have a problem with it. Like, all right, they did take care of this. Isn't their only loss to Oregon?
Yeah.
So like I have nothing to say about that. I'm not trying to put this, but when we start grading and it's like that business being taken care of in one place, even though it's more even than you're making it seem, is the same as Alabama. It's like it just leaves me uneasy about it. I'm gonna lick my wounds and I'm gonna think about it all year, Leroy. Of you're right. Don't blow 21-0 lead to Syracuse. Don't fumble the ball against Georgia Tech. All that stuff is very, very fair. And Mario's going to probably be kicking himself about it too. But it's just tough not to hear this. And this is not the only year. And this is not just about the Canes. Every year, I just feel like somebody's getting one over on this because of ratings or reputation. It's just how it feels all the time. And especially again, with them and Notre Dame.
And I would say this. If going into it, you understand the rules of engagement, you understand that your situation is not what their situation is, and you put yourself in a situation where they're going to decide. I still believe it's on you. Now, again, I've given every argument I could for Miami. And I will consistently and you heard me last year with Florida State. I don't care if 3 people play. You're undefeated, you deserve to be in. You earned that right. That being said, when the lasting image that all of these people have is last Saturday and you with a 21-point lead, losing a football game, that's the last impression you made going into the playoffs. The argument ends.
Yeah, but guaranteed if that was if the Oklahoma game was even the last week for Alabama,
yeah,
it'd still be in.
Yeah,
and,
you can say that, and I can't disagree with it. I can't argue that point, but we hear in sports all the time. All you want is a chance to be able to take care of your own business.
Mm-hmm.
You want that right. You don't want to have to play your best football game and hope that this team or this team loses. You want to be able to take matters into your own hands. That's what you want in sports. Well, you had it. Now, we can sit here and complain about what the circumstance of other teams, and we can sit here and complain about the circumstance of this conference versus this conference, and they favor this conference, and all that can be 100% true. But if you win a game on Saturday, none of that matters. And if you know that going into it, then you have even more incentive to take care of your business. We knew this. Me and Tobin talked about this on Monday last week, that this was going to be the situation if they lost against Syracuse. We talked about it last week. Why are we shocked now?
No, we're not shocked, but what's the lasting image of Ohio State? They lost 2 games.
They were 2 in the country.
Doesn't matter. Their lasting image was
but they lost to
a bad Michigan team.
They lost to a good
Michigan.
Leroy, you've been saying all year how garbage Michigan is. They fell 4 spots just for losing to a 6-win team.
Yeah.
A 6-win team. And I get it. They're the national champs, but that's last year.
Yeah.
And this year, Miami lost to a ranked team to end the season, barely, and they fell 6. And that's what the thing is that's frustrating about it. It's like the rules are just made up as they go, or they're just different from other conferences. I cannot stress enough. Yes, the Canes knew it. They blew it. But also, it's tough not to look at that and be like,
when the Canes lost their first game, they were 2? Were they up to 2? No. They went from 6 to 8, correct?
When they lost to Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
I want to say they were 4th.
They were 4th and they went to 8th. Okay.
They just make up the rules to suit their needs. That's what the rules are. They can say what they want. That's what the committee does.
But again, you can bitch about the committee. You can bitch about the Big Ten. You can bitch about the SEC. I have been on that bandwagon also. But the fact of the matter is, if you win against Syracuse, none of that matters. And so in sports, all you want is an opportunity to take care of your own business. And you had that. You didn't have to wait to see what was going to happen. You didn't have to hope that you got all of these things were in your own hands. Now, after the fact, you to then complain about the circumstances in which you're in, it just seems.
But again, I'm not disagreeing with you. But again, but the thing that is uneasy about it is the team that leaps you took care of their business less than you.
Right. And
they get the pass. So that's just what's. But this is. I feel like this every year with that stupid with that stupid when it was 4 teams. I felt like it.
Yeah.
You know, when they added the
Well,
stupid
the
committee, I
last
felt like
being in the ACC the last 2 years.
yeah, which is why they want to sue and get out. They want to be in the club. You want to play by the different rules, and you know, it is what it is. I mean, but it's
Isn't it amazing that there may not be a team who was in the conference last year win any of these conferences?
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy,
They're
right?
just making it up as they go.
You got Texas,
Texas,
SMU, Oregon.
Yep.
Who was is it Boise? No, wait, who is it?
Talking about the Big 12.
The Big 12 was it Boise wasn't in it.
Arizona State could win the Big 12.
Arizona State could win the Big 12. Right?
Yeah.
So it's crazy, but here's the deal. You need absolute chaos. Right? You need absolute chaos because how far will SMU drop if Clemson wins?
They're probably. I mean, the way it made it sound last night is they're going to drop out.
Then who moves in? Okay. What happens if?
I mean, Clemson would essentially take their spot, and then they would, and I would imagine that's it. Like they would swap, and they would probably be
but Clemson goes up to 4.
Yeah, but isn't that where SMU is right now? In the seedings? In the seedings, that's where they are.
Is it 3 or 4?
3 or 4. 3 or 4. Then you have so what if Georgia loses? Well, Georgia's probably gonna lose. Are they gonna be out of it?
No. Come on.
You see what I mean? It's a weird. I just want chaos. It's gonna be crazy.
We'll take a break. Back with more after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Shout out to Xavier Restrepo, by the way, accepted an invite to the Senior Bowl.
Cool.
Good for him. Hopefully, wish him the best in his draft process. Hurricanes, the basketball team, they lost last night 76-73. That's 5 straight for the Canes. Not been a great season. It was that damn Charleston Classic. Sent them into a tailspin. You got Ward Manuel. This is Leroy's good friend. So if you want to yell at somebody, yell at Leroy. This is you can put all your complaints to Leroy Hoard. How long have you known Ward?
Since we were 10.
Okay. Wow. Here he was yesterday on ESPN on the College Football Selection Show on why Alabama got the nod over Miami.
What it came down to is as we evaluated both teams and looked at how they ranked, obviously we think highly of both teams, one's at 11, one's at 12. But what it really came down to is Alabama is 3-1 against current top 25 teams, and Miami is 0-1. Alabama is 6-1 against teams above 500, and Miami's 4-2. Both have had some losses that weren't what they wanted out of those games. But in the last 3 games, Miami has lost twice. And so for us, in evaluating their body of work, we felt that Alabama got the edge.
There you go. It's Ward yesterday on ESPN.
Is he wrong?
I mean, they make the rankings, so like again, like
I
they're
mean,
they're going with their system that they made. If they're going by their own one, it's like, well, you guys make the rankings. So like
again,
it's kind of an arbitrary thing that you're putting out there.
Again, that brings me to the question or the comment I made when we started, that if everybody in your conference is ranked, you're gonna have, because what stands out to me in all of this is you played a football game against an unranked team and scored 3 points.
Oof.
That right there is grounds to be in the 20s.
Somebody on Twitter just told me anything that has a committee is bound to be corrupt, and I think they may be right. Has there ever been an uncorrupt? And I'm not accusing Ward of it, but there's got to be some SEC person in that committee. They got to be swayed, bought and paid for. There's no way you have a committee full of people and somebody's not corrupted. It's just the way committees work. I don't even think they're. I think it's almost expected with committees is that somebody's going to be compromised in some way.
I just think.
What do they do these committees too? Is it like in a ballroom? Is that where they do it?
No,
do they have like a grand hall? Is there a gavel? Does Ward get a gavel?
No, I don't know.
Can you ask him if he has a gavel?
I'll ask him.
I know they used to meet in.
Is that a waste of his time? He's a very busy person.
Yeah, he's also the athletic director of Michigan.
Just ask him if he has a gavel.
All right.
I used to run a meeting. I had a gavel when I was president.
No, that didn't count. That didn't count because there were beers and shots.
I had a gavel.
Beers and shots were also consumed.
That's fair.
I just think everything that he says can be accurate. And you could say Miami lost 2 of their last 3. But when we saw Oklahoma beat Alabama 24-3, like, come on.
I also just want to be like,
come on. Or Vanderbilt.
Oh,
the only reason why I know where Vanderbilt is because I played in their stadium. And we had to play in their stadium when Tennessee first moved up there.
It's a baseball school.
Whatever.
Like it's who played for Vanderbilt? JJ Bleday.
Yeah, where is he?
He played for Long Beach. I always get those.
No, Vanderbilt.
I thought he played at Florida.
JJ Bleday? No, I don't believe he did. I think it was well, doesn't matter.
No, I know there was a picture.
Jeez.
Where did he go to college?
I want to say Florida.
Did he? I could have swore no, Vanderbilt. He did play for Vanderbilt.
I see it.
Man. By the way, you see this Juan Soto's going to get $600 million?
From who?
They don't know yet. Mystery team. The Dodgers, obviously.
So I just like, yeah, man, for it's an argument where you can pick and choose what parts of the story you want to tell.
Couldn't we just send them a highlight reel of Cam Ward and be like, you guys don't want to see this one more time? Not at the Pop-Tart Bowl. Look at the plays against Cal. Oh,
Again,
the no looks.
It is because here's the other thing. If we had normal BCS rankings and these playoffs weren't involved in it, that it was just the top 4 teams,
yeah,
Miami would be above Alabama.
I think so.
Right.
I think so.
And that is the part that I struggle with, that now we just taken the 4 versus 5 argument and moved it to 12 and 13 or 11 and 12. We've just moved the argument further down, but it's the same damn argument that you had last year between Florida State and Alabama. And you came in with the same type of discussion. And there was really even less of an argument last year when Florida State won the ACC championship. They were undefeated. Like, all the things, what could you say?
I think, you know what? I think FSU's blame is not enough here. You know, like, let's think about this, right? You got to have a hard schedule. And the Miami Hurricanes didn't know that they were scheduling a cupcake with FSU. And FSU comes into the season, you think, this is going to be great. We're going to get to win the state. That's going to get to be something impressive. And those rat bastards didn't hold up their end of the bargain, and it didn't make the Canes look better because they were the worst, the Seminoles.
So my question is this.
Yeah.
Does it matter if you beat the team when they're ranked?
I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't.
I think it does.
Because technically,
not in their eyes.
They just said,
should it?
Ward just said
Current.
that Miami was 0-1 against ranked teams, being they lost to Syracuse.
Right. Even though, like, you could make arguments for Louisville and Duke, like, should they be in the 20s? Should they be there?
Right.
Like,
so it goes by what your rankings are now.
Yeah.
But at the time, they beat a ranked team. At the time, wasn't Louisville ranked? At the time.
Yeah. Dude.
Right. So like, to then go back, that's the part of all this I don't understand. Because you can play the best team in the country, they lose their quarterback, and then lose 5 games in the top 25. But when you played them, everybody was available. So do you count it now, or do you count it when you played them? Because when you played Florida State, they were a top 10 team. It is not your fault that they sucked all year. You just know that the television, the media, everybody hyped it up as Florida State being the top 10 team. So how are we viewing these things? Because if you really want to have a problem, Notre Dame gets 3 freebies a year. They play all the armed forces.
Who were ranked?
Who were ranked? Right. Oh, okay, but
I don't remember a time that's ever happened.
No. So
World War II.
I think, wait, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Roger Staubach go to Navy? Was it Navy or Army? Navy.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
It's a little
One
bit,
of them.
It's a little bit out of my league.
So, like, that's the part I don't understand. Like, when you're getting ready for that game, you're getting ready for a top 10 team.
Shouldn't you get completely disqualified for losing to Northern Illinois at home?
Should hurt.
It should hurt. That's sound like when Miami lost all them letters.
I'm just like shouldn't that be
Was it
nobody-
Middle Tennessee State University?
Northern Illinois?
Not even north or south.
What are they
Middle
fit-
Tennessee. We're just lashing out, but
Yeah, I am lashing out.
but there's questions I have about how this process is done. One, if everybody in your conference is ranked, you always gonna have wins against ranked teams.
That's
And if you play a team when they're ranked and then they suck the rest of the season, do you still get credit for beating a ranked team? Evidently, you don't.
take a break. Hour Tua is next.
for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Vailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Chris Sims can go to hell. Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of food.
Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Take you up till 2. Let's get the headlines here. Brought to you by Doral Kia. At Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia miles in inventory. The Sportage, the Sorrento, and the Telluride. Remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia. I just tortured myself during the break. I watched I couldn't believe this. Somebody put out a stat that Bam Adebayo is 12 for 39 on layups this season. Jeez. And I was like, that's almost unbelievable. Except the great thing about Twitter is somebody actually went and put a highlight reel together of every Bam Adebayo layup this season.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh my God, how many fast breaks and how many putbacks just did not go in this season? That'll kill your shooting percentage, Dan.
Oh, pardon the pun. He's missed some bunnies this year.
Do you want to show why that's funny?
No, that's a joke. That's an inside joke.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. We'll text you during the break, Leroy, about it. But the Miami Heat will be back in action tonight. They are taking on the Los Angeles Lakers at 7:30. Jimmy Butler questionable with a knee injury. And he should be back, though. He was working out last night. That's usually a hint if he puts himself out on Instagram like that. Usually a hint that he's going to be back out there tonight. And then Kevin Love has been dealing with a back because he's old. He's questionable. And Jay Rich has been sick. He's also questionable. No Nico tonight, unavailable with an ankle injury. Kel'el is getting sent to South Dakota to play for the G League. Keshad Johnson, though. Shout out to him. He won G League Player of the Week, and now he's with the big club. So we have that.
So Kel'el will win it next week. Does he get to come back up?
Yes, I think that's the rules. I don't think Coach Dan Bisacchio lets you come up until you win a Player of the Week. Them's the rules now, apparently, in Sioux Falls.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen some of the guys in the G League? Like Jameel Okafor is playing in the G League, and like some like high draft picks.
I think the Heat have Tony Snell on their team. I think that was like a known thing. Like Tony Snell's been trying to get back into the NBA. I believe he's on the Sioux Falls Skyforce. They have Nasir Little and Josh Christopher, who are both on the Summer League team. But Keshad Johnson's, I mean, you want to talk about a fun highlight reel. If you want to talk about a guy just dunking over all of the scrubs, he's got a fun G League highlight reel.
At what point, though, are you too good and you're not doing anything to get better because of the competition you're playing against?
I don't know.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, if he's dunking over everybody in the G League, then he's not pushing himself to get better.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answers to that are. I mean, they've obviously had a very good track record.
It's like when they show LeBron when he was at high school dunking over the little white dude, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's time for him to enough high school basketball.
There's got to be a fun. You have to add some fun stories though. You never took on just like I'm like this poor child.
Oh, when I was a kid, I was playing. So we had parks. I was Digby Playground. And for example, the Mannings were Joe Brown Park, right? We were playing a team one time and the weight class was 95 pounds. I weighed 94 3/4. But all the other kids were 80, 75, right? And I played running back. And I got the ball, and they were like, oh, and I just heard a crunch, and I got this little kid, and they, and the mom ran out there. He's too big. Did you weigh him? And my dad never yelled anything ever at a football game. He didn't yell. He didn't say go. He didn't cheer. Nothing. He just stood there. All of a sudden, I heard maybe he ought to get his little ass in the weight room. Like, so I like, yeah, in height, like, but as in every athlete will tell you that when you play, you go through these different stages, and then when you get to your top stage, you kind of level off. And if you still have that, then you're a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So I was Little League, high school, even college to some extent. And then when I got to NFL, it was kind of like, okay, you gotta, be a professional to try to succeed in this. You're not just going all of a sudden just dominate everybody like you did before. So, like, yeah, but if you see a guy dominating like that, is he really learning the craft of NBA basketball? Because if he's dunking over everybody, that's going to be his go-to move because you're trying to
True.
score.
Yeah, I get what
He's
you're
not
saying.
working on, his fadeaway or his, all the different skill sets that you need to play that position.
Yeah, I think that stuff's fair. Like, I just think the kid is. I think the kid looks like, man, if he sticks around with them, they're going to turn him into a monster because he's just got pterodactyl span. Like, he's also stealing and blocking everything there. So we'll see. I mean, I know Haywood's got a lot of that role right now, but I'm with you. Like, I feel like that stuff's always needed in the NBA. It'd just be nice if Spo didn't play him against 7-footers, but we'll see.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
kind of curious tonight too. I want to see, I want to see, because I haven't been watching like Lakers games. Obviously, I'm not staying up watching Lakers games every night, but I kind of want to see is like, does LeBron genuinely look old, or is this just a slump?
Well, I think it happens it happens in basketball and it happens in hockey. And sometimes you'll hear the coach talk about it like, yeah, we just didn't have any energy. Right? You're traveling, you're playing, so I would just say that is just the different stretches of basketball you get into. Right? You had the holidays, so maybe guys were playing basketball, going home to be with their family and just kind of, lighting the candle on both ends to try to, do the holiday thing. I don't know. And then add, look, you got to add it 40.
Yeah, you have to, but
Right.
he's not 40. Like, he's LeBron 40. He's not a
Right.
man's 40.
Right. So from that standpoint,
I don't feel like his 40 plays by the same rules as everybody. They're like his 40 is like Alabama in the CFP.
right.
He plays
And
by different rules.
and you know what's crazy? When you see guys lose their legs, they mysteriously can't even hit the rim. Like, it's crazy how off he is shooting the three now. Like, it's not even close.
Weird, man. Duncan's been like the last couple of games too, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Eat our 2.5-point favorites tonight. 7:30 tip, 6:15 is preheat. Solana, Tommy Tig, Ime Udoka, Jason
You
Jackson.
going?
Great.
Let me
audio
see your
experience
feet.
crew.
Let me see your feet. Yep. Tobin will be there.
Boots on the ground.
I should have known by you got the little sweatshirt on.
Ooh, it was brisk this morning though.
Oh yeah, I got up. I had to get up early to go get my breakfast this morning because they'd be running out of stuff.
We'll take a break, get into some NFL stuff around the league. Back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Let's get to 15 minutes of Game Day Uncensored, which is brought to you by your Southern Lexus dealers. The Lexus December to Remember sales event is why you stay on the nice list. Find yours and get offers on select models, but only for a limited time now through January 2nd. Make it a December to remember. Last night, the Florida Panthers, they fell to the Penguins 5-4 in OT. Cats did get a point after coming back from 4-1 in the third period, but unable to completely close it out. But the Dolphins, they'll be back on the practice field today as they start getting ready for the New York Jets. And Leroy's gone off to go do his Cleveland hit, and they're going to go celebrate Jameis Winston. And Leroy's going to Dolphins and Browns in Cleveland in a couple of weeks, which to me has kind of become a very interesting, challenging game for the Dolphins, not only because of the cold weather, but Jameis Winston is a crazy person. He's legitimately just plays the position like an insane person, Dan Day. He just chucks the ball 500 yards, but there could be pick sixes involved.
It could be the greatest play in football. It could be the worst play in football. And then at the end of the game, what did he say? God's going to keep me from throwing pick sixes.
I need the Lord to deliver me from pick sixes. It's truly something. When we're going to see on Sunday mornings years from now, the sermons from Jameis Winston and the things that and the things that are coming out of his mouth are crazy. But obviously, they got a task at hand, the Dolphins, which is the New York Jets. And, Aaron Rodgers is out here selling you, he has no interest in shutting it down and that he gets paid for all the weeks. And, this has obviously been a disaster season for the New York Jets, more so than the Dolphins, just because they're firing everybody. They have an old quarterback who's looked every bit of his age and also looked every bit of coming off of his injury. And it was interesting because, you see some of the players coming out here, like Leonard Williams from the Seattle this past week. He's basically saying Aaron Rodgers is at the point he don't want to get hurt anymore. Like, he is chucking and ducking. He is getting the hell out of there. He has no interest in being touched, which if I'm the Dolphins and I have a young, spry Chopper Robinson, I am licking my chops going into this, because you have to be thinking, like, get that young man after Aaron Rodgers, get him shook early. Calais Campbell, Zach Sealer, like, this should be such a make good game for that team, being in their building and getting a chance to get right this week. The Dolphins are 6-point favorites. And so while, like, they haven't put this vast gulf on the record, look, man, you want to get right and you want to start having any hope of making the playoffs, which is essentially you got to run the table. This is the margin for error for the Dolphins is non-existent anymore. Not only because of where your record's at, but then the teams you're chasing. You have a Broncos team that won on Monday Night Football. You got a Colts team that Colts loss, I can't believe it. That one is that's gonna haunt the Dolphins. That Colts loss and the turnovers that they had in that game, because you would have thought, like, maybe the Colts aren't going to be in a playoff position by the end of the year. They're flipping the coin between Flacco and Anthony Richardson, and yet here they are. You have to finish ahead of them because of that stupid tiebreaker that they have over you. So yeah, the Dolphins are up against it, dude. The Dolphins are up against it, and I got C-Dub who's saying Dolphins done, Kane's done. Look, man, I can't argue. It's a great argument. I mean, we know the Canes are done. They're going to go end up playing in the whatever stupid thing they call the Citrus Bowl these days. Pop-Tart, Cheez-It. When I was there, it was Cheez-It. I was on a lazy river with De'Aaron King. It was the Cheez-It Bowl. And yeah, that field is cursed. I also remember, what was it? Was it just the Citrus Bowl with the Canes huddled around the heater against Wisconsin? I hate that bowl. I know that they always end up getting sent there because, like, them's the bowl rules, but I hate going to Orlando for these. It just feels like it's always cursed, and I don't understand it. That isn't that field where Orlando City, do they play in the Citrus Bowl or do they play somewhere else?
No, I think they finally got the good
they got
mind
their
to
own
get
place?
out of there. Yeah, I think they did. They did at first.
Because I would think, like, they have a soccer pitch. I would think that would be tremendous grass. But no, it's been the worst turf. The only thing that could compete with it is the fake turf that they have at MetLife that snatches Achilles, which I got to say, as an aside, I don't know how much you're paying attention to the social media, Dan Day, but Jaelan Phillips back to beating science already. He's putting himself up. He's doing crunches, like reverse crunches. He's lifting some weights. And then he did this thing where he's like balancing on his one leg. He's catching what appears to be some kind of pool noodle device with like an aquatic backpack of some kind to add some extra weight. He's trying all the gimmicks. Maybe it's just to look good for the gram. I don't know. But we also know him to be a proven science builder, science beater. So do with that what you will.
He'll be back.
Oh, he'll be back
for the end of the season. No, I'm joking. That would be something.
That would be crazy. Now we're just trying to see if we get Bradley Chubb back.
January 5th against the Jets, Jaelan Phillips returns in a win or go home for the Dolphins.
It would be great if like he's just like, you remember how Aaron Rodgers was trying to beat the Achilles injury in like less than a year, which by the way now basically just seems like it was for Netflix because you have this Netflix documentary Enigma, which is coming out on Aaron Rodgers, which I'm gonna hate watch. I mean, I'm gonna watch it because I want to see it, but I'm going to just watch it to crush it because I just want to be like, how annoying can I find this individual? Every which way. I am a little bit curious about the ayahuasca though. That looks genuinely interesting. He's off in Costa Rica. There's like, what do they call those bowls? Like, are they Himalayan? Like, no, what are those singing bowls that he has around him? I'm very curious about.
Curious to see what type of ayahuasca he takes because not all ayahuasca is equal.
Is it ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, whatever. There's different levels. There's some that it's basically like drinking water. Then there's other levels where it supposedly gets you crazy. Hoping he does the hard stuff.
Yeah, I would too. I think if you do darkness retreats, one would think you're hardcore about it. You know?
Yeah, you
I don't know. It's a strange thing by him, but he also, if you're the Dolphins, listen, don't lose to a guy using ayahuasca at this point because you know that he's probably getting high as a kite every single week just to get through this season. I mean, let's be honest. If you're a guy who's doing those type of recreational substances, which is hallucinogenic, my guess is football really hurts at this age, especially coming off an Achilles. And I would venture to guess he's using like, he's probably microdosing from a poison dart frog. Who knows what the hell he's got going on? So you want to talk about a guy who's probably seeing like 22 defenders out there. That's the guy they probably got coming in here on Sunday. So you got to take advantage. That's how it's got to be. It's pretty wild. Luis says, hasn't smoked weed in 14 hours. He's doing good.
Whoa.
Clear as day. He's clear as a bell right now. You can feel it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll mix things up coming up next, including Tom Brady weighs in on the biggest controversy in the NFL and Paul Maurice on his young goalie struggles. That's next. All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you. Take you guys up until 2 on the program. But first, I want to let you guys know it's a Tobin and Leroy exclusive. The music festival, Welcome to Rockville, is coming to Daytona International Speedway in May. We've got your chance to win a 4-day general admission pass to see Shinedown, Green Day, Linkin Park, Korn, and a whole lot more. Plus, we got one grand prize winner that's going to get a Rockville holiday mystery box. Keep listening to our show for details on how you can win. We'll give those away before the end of today's program. For info on Welcome to Rockville, go to welcome to Rockville, just 1R.com. Check that on out. Schmeathan says you mailed it in. I'm just trying to get it in. It's I need to, we're just trying to get through Schmeathan. We got the mixed bag to get to, you rat bastard. Let's get first with Tom Brady. So the biggest story in the NFL is the suspension that has been laid down, and for Houston. Nick Caserio came out yesterday because he was like, "This is complete bull bleep. Al Shaair should not be suspended 3 games." Even though, I mean, he's got a past. He's got a past of getting after fools. The thing that's tough about it with the whole sliding thing, and we'll hear from Tom here in a second with Trevor Lawrence, is Trevor Lawrence is a pretty big guy, and getting that body down and that giant dome of his, I think that played into it too. Seems like I do think it's a mix between, it was borderline, but also the wrong type of guy to hit. So, do they appeal this? Do they get something of this? It's also one of these things where he's got repeated violations. I don't think many people know that. But here was Tom Brady on the hit itself on Trevor Lawrence, and here's what Tom Brady had to say on that.
When you run, you put yourself in a lot of danger. And when you do that, I don't think the onus of protecting an offensive quarterback who's running should be on a defensive player. I don't think that's really fair to the defense. So if you slide and it's, everyone can argue, was it black and white or was it just a gray area? Do you slide late or is it unnecessary roughness or is it a late hit? To me, a late hit is very late. There's quarterbacks that I see running and tiptoe on the sideline and they're not even out of bounds and they get hit as they're starting to step out of bounds and there's a penalty flag thrown. So the aspect, again, for a play caller, there's more designed runs for quarterbacks ever now than in the history of the NFL. So are we really trying to protect quarterbacks? Because if you are trying to do it through the rules, then why are the offensive coordinators not protecting their quarterbacks?
There you go, Tom Brady on the herd yesterday. So, look, I get it. He's also part of that. A lot of the reasons that quarterback rules are as protective as they are is because of Tom Brady.
Yeah, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? He took full advantage of every time getting close to being touched, trying to get a penalty. Now he's like, quarterbacks should be tougher. They shouldn't be so protected.
It is very funny seeing Tom Brady seem to hate the game of football. He's not very good on these broadcasts. He's good on the shows. He just doesn't seem like he's very into the game all that much. I will say Tony Romo's had a big bounce back season, so proud of Romo for finding his game again. But Tom Brady is, he's like the poster boy for how do we keep the quarterback safe because of all the things that I hate. Tuck rule, hit rule, all of these things are from him. So it's weird, Dan, that he's like one of these guys that's like he hates the game now, but he's like such a reason that the game is where it is. Ridiculous. I mean, like these tuck rules. I hate that rule. Where all of a sudden you put on this menacing play. Zach Sealer should have like 2 forced fumbles over the last 2 weeks where you have this menacing play. And because the quarterback's arm is pointing forward, they're like, nah, that was an attempted pass. I'm like, it was? The defensive lineman made him do that. That's stupid to me. Last night, the Panthers lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Tough night between the pipes for young Spencer Knight, who just had a shutout. But last night, every third shot was going in. Paul Maurice was asked about it after the game. This is what Paul Maurice had to say on Spencer Knight's night.
How would you evaluate Spencer's game tonight?
I just won't. Think about the shutout on the bus that he had last game. I'll think about that one.
He's great. I love that from Paul Maurice, man. He is a gem. Like he knows the times to get after it with his team. He said this days ago, like leading into that Toronto game, that something was missing. Then they go on the good run. You know, they take out the Leafs. They take out the Hurricanes over the weekend back to back. And they had a valiant effort. A very weird game. He even said this after the game, Dan, where he was like, I don't really know how to feel about this game because, you know, I think we did all the right things to win. We just didn't end up winning.
Yeah, still got the point.
And still got the point. You know, they pulled a point out. Kachuk was a little disappointed. He's like, man, you do all that work, you get the point, you want to get the win. I get that. But he just seems to know when to push the right buttons. Obviously, the Cats, you know, we're going with young Spencer because Sergei Bobrovsky is awaiting the birth of his child. So congratulations once again to the Bobs. But, you know, I wouldn't sweat it too much. It was a very weird game last night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, which they had said this on the broadcast. I think Goldie said it's been 6 years. I think it was 6 years since the Panthers had actually gone into Pittsburgh and not at least gotten a point.
Goodness.
That's pretty weird. That's that.
Don't worry. Panthers are fine. Anytime they play somebody that's a playoffs caliber team, they take care of business. So
yes,
they'll be all right.
That's 100% true. They've been all the way. They'll play up to the competition when they need to. Back at it tomorrow in Philly against the Flyers at 7:00. Meanwhile, we got Heat basketball tonight, and Tyler Herro has been having a sensational season. And he had some thoughts after the game. He was asked about Bam's struggles this season. And all of his struggles are on the offensive end. You know, he's still a tremendous defender. He's rebounding like a monster. Tyler Herro did not like the description that Bam Adebayo is struggling this year. Here was Boy Wonder.
I don't think he's struggling, honestly. I think he's playing a great brand of basketball. He's continuing to impact the game on the defensive end. He's gotten 2 triple-doubles in the last 3 days. And he, missed shots are one thing, but like I said, he continued to find ways to impact the game. And scoring, he'll continue to, get his looks. And he's going to make his shots. He's, like you said, we know what he's capable of, so I don't think he's struggling.
There you go. Tyler Herro, who, of course, started the season nuclear on fire and has had a very, very nice year. Borderline all-star right now. That he probably got to play a little bit better to make sure they sneak him in, but he's been tremendous this year, all season. And if the Heat do get an all-star, Tyler bar none is the guy. But it is interesting saying, like, Bam, you can see watching the games, and this is the thing that nobody really wants to hear because you're a max player, but you can see watching the games how much he's doing to facilitate for guys, to get guys open, to set up the shooters, to get rebounds. They literally don't have anybody who can play center that is not getting blown off the floor right now. All love to Kevin Love. And the thing is with him, though, he can't nail a shot. That's not a dunk. I don't know what the hell's going on there. It's weird.
He's just in a slump right now. That's the thing. He had 20 rebounds the other night, though. So that's the thing. He's still doing the work.
Yep.
So, yeah, give it time. Players go through highs and lows in a season. And I think as he gets more comfortable with this new offense, this up-tempo offense, he'll stop pushing so much and kind of let the game come to him more. But in the meantime, rebounds and facilitating, let Tyler cook.
He's been doing great. And, I think tonight will probably be, one of those nights, too, where, his impact is probably mostly going to be on defense because he's got to figure out how to shut down Brown tonight. That's got to be the big thing. And you're hopefully that Jimmy, has a good night because he usually does when he gets a few of these days off to kind of recharge the batteries. Don't really know how hurt the knee is, so that's definitely going to be an interesting thing to see tonight against the LA Lakers. But for certain, if Bam does get in a bit of a run, man, the Heat are going to be in a better place. When the offense does get a little bit more efficient, and that layup montage. I mean, if you want to torture yourself, go watch the Bam Adebayo. I'm not going to retweet it because I don't want to do that. But if you guys just want to go look up Bam Adebayo layup on Twitter and go watch this, you'll make yourself nutty with it. Like, this guy should probably have like 40-point games. This is crazy. How is he missing these shots?
That's good, though. I mean, it's not good that he's missing all these shots, but you got to figure as the season goes on, those shots will start going in.
I think so.
And you got Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, if he could stay healthy, Tyler, who's cooking. Hopefully Duncan Robinson can make some shots. Jaime Jaquez Jr., Pella Larson.
Jaime does seem like he's getting it going a little bit.
Yeah, he had some issues earlier in the year. There's been some speculation on what it was. I'm not going to get into it, but he seems to be seeing the floor more. Let's just say that.
Seems to be. One guy who's been seeing plenty of the floor face down has been Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers asked about, is he going to stick out this season with the New York Jets? This was Aaron Rodgers yesterday.
I want to be out there with my guys in battle as long as I feel healthy. Body feels as good as it felt, whether fortunately or unfortunately for the situation. Body feels great. I want to be out there. I want to be out there with the guys. I want to battle. I have a lot of pride in playing. One of my goals this year coming back from the Achilles was to play all 17 games. I assume that would be 17 plus whatever playoff games we played in. Obviously, that hasn't been the case this year. But we still got 5 games left, and would love to be out there battling with the guys.
I like Dr. Toboggan, who's like, Leroy wishes he was here right now because he hates Aaron Rodgers. And that's true. He does hate Aaron Rodgers. Look, you make a gazillion dollars on the salary cap from Woody Johnson, who maybe wanted to bench you at one point this year. He's got to finish it out. You can't have the stories lingering out there that maybe the owner wanted to sit you down and you're going to have him have the satisfaction by the end of the year. Is that best for the New York Jets? Man, it doesn't seem like it has been, even though he looked physically better last week. A little bit.
That pick 6 was pretty nasty.
I mean, it hasn't been a great standing. And I need the Dolphins to have some more of that, because if he comes in here and he absolutely, that's so Dolphins everybody, and he somehow looks vintage against the Miami Dolphins, people are going to lose their minds down here.
Tobin, I am excited about this Saturday's game. And of course, you and Alejandro Solano will have pre-game starting at 9:00 in the morning. But I'm even more excited about the game January 5th because I have no idea what that Jets team and organization is going to look like. If they start losing some games, they may just jettison everything. It could be a totally different team. I'm so excited. And they're going to do something crazy and stupid. So, man, it's going to be fun.
It's always fun. It's the only thing you could really look to this year right now, and it makes you happier as a Dolphin fan, is to watch the Jets struggle even more, because misery loves company. But yeah, this is one of those things for them. I think the Dolphin fan will say to even the Jets is like, well, the Jets have picked a direction. They're going to go complete reset. The Dolphins are going to be sitting here and they're like, well, if Cheetah comes back healthier next year with a fixed wrist and, we shore it up by getting a beefier running back and some new linemen, they'll start talking yourselves into it. And then you're really still not going to be sure up until December of next year. So that, I think, is the only thing that they can say is like, all right, the Jets, they know they effed up. They've moved on. GM gone, coach gone, and Aaron Rodgers likely gone. So where do they go from here? Now, it is the Jets. I mean, mind you, they've lost to Geno Smith. They've lost to Sam Darnold. I'm waiting for Zach Wilson to finish the trifecta at some point. But, I guess they get to go, I don't get in the Belichick sweepstakes this year, I guess, or, Mike Vrabel, and they can be excited about that for now. But right now, the Dolphins have to go and they have to start their run. If they're going to have any hope whatsoever, it starts this week against the New York Jets, and it starts with putting a lot of pain on Aaron Rodgers, because they have to get after him, make him uncomfortable, and see where things are at going into this game. And yes, we will have more coverage of that coming up. Game Day Uncensored, 9 a.m. on Sunday. That is the mixed bag, ladies and gentlemen, as we have fastly gone all over the sports world. We will take a break here on the show. When we come back, get you caught up with your headlines. Any Canes fans that do want to get in their thoughts on the college football playoff, 305-567-056. You can get us at that number. And Leroy will be back. So we'll take a break. Back with more after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy back with you here, 560 WQAM. Hello, Leroy.
What's up?
How's Cleveland?
Oh no, Michigan just beat Ohio State. It was great.
Rubbing in their face?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're just I get into it with, and they say, "Is Nick Chubb done?" I'm like, really, dude? Like, it takes a long time. Just because you're playing, don't mean you're back. I think that's why I tell, like, I've told you this. If I was a player nowadays, I'm not playing until I'm 100% because, especially in football, because you get graded soon as you put that uniform on.
Yeah.
And then people complain about, well, just give us what you have. No,
Baker Mayfield.
Right. Exactly.
Let's get to headlines brought to you by Doral Kia. At Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia miles in inventory like the Sportage, the Sorento, and the Telluride. Remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia, as the Miami Dolphins will get after it today, getting ready for the New York Jets. Please don't lose to that team. Please embarrass them like me.
You see, there's evidence, or not evidence, but there's questions. Did Aaron Rodgers miss minicamp because he was doing a Netflix special?
We were talking a little bthat when you were gone, the Enigma thing that is coming out with on Netflix. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of it, that whole Costa Rica trip wasn't, I believe Poyer was on that thing as well. So maybe that was part of it. I don't know. It certainly is. It's certainly one of those things that was, remember, like they were saying like during the summer, like, it's not a big deal. But then it's kind of like one of those foreshadowing things. Then it's like, oh, then it becomes a big deal when you look back at it. You're like, oh yeah, that was kind of a thing.
You're just playing the result at that point.
Yes.
Right. Like they're 3-9, so it mattered.
Of course.
If they were 9-3, it wouldn't have mattered.
Well, you know what, dude? Maybe they should make like college, and they'll take a note from Alabama and only lose to teams that apparently don't matter. Ward manual.
What's the point spread of this game?
Dolphins are 6-point favorites.
Yikes.
Yep. Dolphins are 6-point favorites. And Aaron is he's like, I got a lot of pride. I'm going to get through this. I want to, he's getting through childbirth. He's trying to get through the labor of the season.
I think a lot of times his comments make it worse.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it almost seems like he does it purposefully. Right? Which is like, I never know. Is he saying that because that's what he believes, or he's saying that to be Aaron Rodgers?
I think there's definitely part of it that's like, I'm just going to say this to be an antagonist. Right. I definitely think I think he likes that. I think because there's a little bit of him that's an agent of chaos, and I think that he likes to just get a rise out of people.
Yeah, but you know what? He's an agent of chaos, but it normally never surrounds him. And now he's a Jet, and that whole organization is an agent of chaos.
Yes.
And even his, see all this stuff happening in Green Bay, he used to always be able to win 6 straight and, whatever.
Yes.
He's in New York now on a different team with different talent. And now that's not, an easy thing to just get over, because you're not the same guy and you're not in the same position you were in Green Bay.
I just think for the Dolphins, man, I would love for them to just come out here and just have like a cleanser, almost just one where it's just like, all right, do everything to the best of your ability these last 5 games, but it would really start with just going and thumping a team that sucks at home, just embarrass them, and just get all the poison out that was whatever they're feeling and all the stuff they're talking about and narratives and cold games. It's like, all right, all that's not a factor here. You're taking on a division opponent in your building. Just go throttle them and put all of this frustration behind you, because that's the thing that sucks about playing on a holiday. Like, they've had to sit in this mess now for days on end before they're able to go and right the situation.
Well, I think For a few days, they just got away from football. So maybe that was
Tua took the families to go see Moana 2?
I don't know.
I saw he did. I think
Oh,
he planned. He said all the kiddos. There was a Tua family trip to the movies.
All right, cool.
I haven't seen Moana 2 yet. I remember seeing the original. I
know my daughter and my wife went and saw Wicked.
Oh, did they like it?
Yeah.
I saw Red 1 with my son.
That's what I wanted to go see. Was it
I
good?
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. If you guys don't know what Red 1 is,
Who likes snow? Who doesn't like a snowman, an angry looking snowman on the beach?
Oh, it was great. I love the snowman fight scene and The Rock. Dan Day, you're looking at me confused, but the Red 1 is about The Rock, who is essentially they treat Santa like the president, and The Rock is like the head of Santa's Secret Service.
Okay.
It was great, dude.
You went to the movies to see that?
My son wanted to see it.
Okay.
It was his first PG-13 movie.
Oh,
he was very excited. He's like, I said a lot of no words.
Oh. Don't tell
Mom. No. So, Dan, let me explain to you, someone with kids. When you take your son to a PG-13 movie, that means you really want to see that movie, and you're using him as cover.
Oh, I swear, I had no interest in seeing Red 1. I was thrilled to see it though. It was great because I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, how crazy can The Rock get? The Rock is not even. What is the craziest Rock movie that he's got?
Didn't he jump from building to building with one
Oh,
leg?
that's right, Skyscraper.
Skyscraper. that was believable.
Even says first PG-13 movie. Grow up, Tommy.
So yeah,
I did have an awkward situation with him at the movies though, because I thought, see, the rules should be this for movies. Okay, if it's a PG-13 movie, the highest the preview should go is PG-13.
Oh, they had some R-rated movies?
Yeah, dude, they did. And they apparently, look, great for Nicole Kidman. Okay, I'm glad that at her age, she's still doing sexy roles, which good for her. But like, they put up on the flash, rated R, strong sexual content ahead. I was like, what? And I didn't know that Nicole Kidman is now doing her own version of 50 Shades of Grey. And so I had to go like, cover the eyes, cover the ears. I only have so many hands. And I'm like, hey, what is that? Putting that preview in the PG-13 Santa movie?
Well, usually when you see an action movie, even if the previews are R, it's usually other action movies with a lot of cussing.
Nope. Not at this place.
You don't show like that. Those two movies, the same people ain't going to those two movies.
Sitting in here, I'm like, hey, man, what are we doing here?
That doesn't make sense. So, like, if you take a family and some friends to go see like a reshowing of Snow White, they shouldn't be showing previews for Showgirls and Eyes Wide Shut.
Exactly, dude.
Right. Like you would expect that if you go to an action-packed movie, that the only other movies you might see is like Deadpool 4.
She had some Love Island bloke who's like, on your knees. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? I'm like, and I couldn't even use snacks as an excuse. We had already gotten our snacks.
You didn't bring snacks?
Nah, I just bought snacks there.
Oh. I'll get them from the popcorn and the slushy.
It was $5 movie night. I was like, I'll spend, because we didn't even get candy. He wanted nachos, popcorn, soda.
Can I just tell you
what?
On the movie snack rankings, I go from the bottom up. Nachos is last, because first of all, you never get crisp, crunchy nachos. They're always stale, and that molten lava they pour over the top is the farthest thing from cheese there is.
He loves it. He loves that fake cheese.
Yeah, it's like, come on.
We had that when we were watching Ohio State beat Michigan. We were getting chili dogs, and he has the fake chili cheese dog he has on that. He was like, "Oh, this is amazing."
I mean, how much cleaning up do you have to do, though? That's a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
cleanup.
Kinda
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense why he was throwing up the other day. Now that I think about it,
Yeah. Like I'm telling you. Wait, where'd you get the chili dog from?
someplace in St. Augustine.
You can't just get chili dogs anywhere, dude. You gotta
It's a
inspect.
gamble, I guess, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
He
Right.
paid the
And that
verification for it.
cheese. I mean, listen, I have a problem with all foods that are pouring out of a thing like icing. So when they squeeze that cheese out, or you pump the cheese.
Not all chili and not all cheese are made the same. You know
Right,
that. You got
right.
a gas station and you're just pumping. Oh
Yeah,
man.
if you pump in chili, I would say that's a firm no.
Dade South is making a point that's so spot on because he says parents allow violence but get all crazy when a boob shows up. He's right because after he is spot on because after the Eyes Wide Shut remake or whatever Nicole Kidman is making, the next preview, Gladiator 2. I let him watch it. Ended with the beheading, basically. Like they cut it off, but we know what happened. When
he got the thumbs down.
Did you see Gladiator 2?
No, I don't have anybody to go. I don't have anybody to go to movies with.
I thought that you would have been like first weekend to see that.
Nobody goes with me. Who do I go with?
I'm sorry,
Fonz
buddy.
is doing his own thing, and Rebecca went and saw Wicked.
You won't see a movie by yourself?
No, that's
not that bad. I mean, once the movie starts, you're alone anyway.
I'll go with you, buddy. You want to go next week?
Did you already see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
All right, we'll go.
We'll make a day. We'll make a day of it.
We're talking about Gladiator 2, not Wicked, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
that'd be weird.
I saw Wicked on Broadway.
Oh,
it was nice.
What?
I'm a Broadway. I'm an Altman.
You really,
dude. I don't believe that for 1 second.
I swear to God, dude. I saw Wicked on Broadway. I saw
in New York.
Yes, the real deal. Years ago, before it is what it is now. I saw that. I saw Jersey Boys. I swear to God, why would I lie about that?
Broadway.
I'm gonna put that in line with you growing hair.
The great white way, man. Look at you.
I'm very cultured,
man.
That one. My father did a lot of horse work with the guy who runs Playbill, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go to a couple shows?" He's like, "I don't," but he says, "But my daughter-in-law would love to go." So he got us a couple of. He's like, "Pick 2 shows," and those were like the 2 hottest shows you want to go see. Boom.
We can see Wicked and what else?
We saw Jersey Boys and we saw Wicked.
Yeah.
Those were like the biggest things at the time.
Okay.
Rent wasn't big at that time.
I don't think Rent was big at that time. I don't think Rent was, but maybe it was. But those are the ones you wanted to see.
Man, don't go see Cats. That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't Cats retired now?
Good. I still to this day don't know what happened in the play. I know I spent a lot of money to go see it with a lady, and then at the end I go, "So what was the plot?" She was like, "It's about cats." I go, "I need more than just about cats. Like I don't know what was going on in that play."
They did a live television show on that.
Still to this day don't know what's going on.
Take a break. Back after this. Welcome back, Tobin and Leroy. Hey, Leroy, can we get a weather update from the Demesman and Over Law Firm, youraccidentattorneys.com. Free consultation 24/7. Call it 866-954-MORE.
What a beautiful day in South Florida. A little cooler. I would say it's about 65 degrees. Winds are light. I don't see anything moving. I'm going to guess it's out of the northeast. And I don't think you have to worry about rain today. I'm going to go ahead on and say it. 0% chance of rain.
Wow. Bold, dude.
Right on, though.
He's a golfer. That's the crazy thing about it. He always seems to have a lock on this. I don't know what it is. It's pretty weird. Did you see this yesterday, Leroy? Of course you did. You're big into the NBA Twitter. And I found this very strange yesterday. You know, like we get sent these all the time, these emails, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, the odds to such and such to go such and such way. And I like these because it's like, you know, usually it's like, where's Anthony Edwards going to end up? Next team. Where's Trae Young going to go? And so they hear,
and then you eat it up because they always put the heat in there.
Right.
And then you hyperventilate. And
Totally fair.
Yeah.
Although I don't like all these Jimmy Butler rumors that have floating around. That did not make me happy.
Oh, but when it's one of your guys.
I don't like that. I don't even know. I'm not a big fan of that. But yesterday I saw one floating around on this NBA Central, you know, which is a hellhole. If you ever get mentioned by them, I mean, you want to talk about the depths of hell on Twitter, go to the mentions of NBA Central. And then of course now there's NBA Central, which just fools everybody. It's basically like the NBA Twitter onion. And like they've got Kevin Durant. They've gotten like stars to think these stories are real. Like there was one that said this year that Paul George kicked Jared McCain's nail polish across the locker room after losing to the Heat, and people ran with that. They thought that was a real story.
I actually got by it yesterday.
Did you?
I did.
Which story?
There was a story. You guys were going off on a whole rant, and I didn't want to interrupt that rant last night, but I got because they were saying that ring girl from the Mike Tyson versus Paul. Paul, that ring girl, the blonde one, how Zion Williamson was trying to slide into her DMs.
I thought that was real too.
I thought it was real, and then I looked at the comments, and they were like, "You just got."
I thought that was a real story too, because you know we've seen Zion Williamson. Listen, that man, he gets after it on the gram. So I thought that was a real story too. Also, it would have been funny because he's never coming back. Zion, like they were saying, Shams was saying yesterday, nowhere close to coming back.
Jeez.
I mean, they're 4-18.
Fair point. That team is weird, dude.
They got a great lineup.
They should not be that bad.
I thought they were going to compete for first place in the first half of the season with DeJounte Murray.
First half.
PJ McCollum.
First half of what?
Ingram,
Week 1?
Zion Williamson. No, the first half of the season up to New Year's when they come here from Miami. I thought, man, they'll probably be in first place.
Well, anyway, so NBA Central comes out with these odds, Dan, of odds for the person most likely to replace Pat Riley in the Heat's front office. And I'll give you the odds in a second. I just found it odd. Like, why is this out there all of a sudden? You know, why is this even being kicked around the ether sphere? I know Pat Riley was just on the OG's podcast, and so I guess that's reasons he's maybe making some headlines.
The statue too over there in LA.
That actually to me was a big sign that maybe this is the end for Pat Riley. The big reason is
he wouldn't let that happen if he was in the middle of it.
Right. I don't think Pat Riley would do a statue if he's with the Heat. He's too old school. And you think about the court coming, and you think about what an honor that was for him. And he was genuinely moved, and he got to do the D-Wade statue kind of like as his last peace offering to D-Wade, even though it got, universally, he didn't make the statue. It was D-Wade who had the process in it. And now he's getting a statue from the Lakers. I don't see Pat Riley doing that as a member of the Miami Heat. I feel like Pat Riley goes off to Malibu, lets his beautiful silver fox hair down, and shows up to the statue ceremony. I agree with you, Leroy. I don't think he does it in the battle, but whatever. There's odds for his replacement, and the odds go. None of the favorites are surprises because they're all members of the Miami Heat. They have Andy Ellisberg as the favorite. Eric Spoelstra then at plus 375. Adam Simon, current general manager, at plus 950. Nick Arison, I mean, I don't really know why he has to replace Pat Riley. He's above Pat Riley. He owns the team at plus 2,500. And then Bob Myers at plus 2,500.
Bob Myers, the crybaby?
Yeah, the crybaby. Which, strangely enough, can I tell you something that happened to me last night? I think it's because I saw these odds, because it's just hitting me now seeing these odds that I was like, why was Bob Myers on my mind? I had a dream last night that I was hosting PTI, right? But my co-host was none other than former Warriors president of basketball operations, Bob Myers.
Hey, during the break, I'm gonna send you a number. I'm gonna send you a number.
In his dreams, this man is not even.
You need to get some help with your dreams. Goodness,
I swear it was crazy. We were
so you are the only
Dreams causing anxiety.
And I don't know whether I should be insulted that it wasn't me. It was Bob Myers.
I was a fill-in. You and I were still doing the show. In fact, I was doing it from here. It was remote, but I could only see Bob Myers. But I was actually doing it. Strangely, it was in the fish tank office. I remember Glenn walking in the background. So, like, I wasn't the host of PTI. I was just hosting an episode of PTI with Bob
That's a very
Myers.
detailed dream. That's weird.
Did you fall asleep right after PTI?
What? I don't know. I haven't watched PTI in a long time. But it was like, why am I hosting PTI with Bob Myers, former Warriors president of basketball operations? And inevitably, on our Twitch chat says it's more realistic for Tobin to host a show with Oscar Mayer. But inevitably, I had to take pot shots at Bob Meyer over crying, Leroy. I had to, because he was sitting here whining about the in-season tournament. I was like, what are you going to do? Cry like you did over Kevin Durant? Bob Myers? He didn't like that very much.
In your dream.
In my dream, dude.
This is wild.
Dude, I don't know how to move on from that. Like, do we go to the next topic? Like, what do we do?
Well, I think this might have been the reason for it. Okay. There's a bunch of names I don't really recognize. Tayshaun Prince is plus 4,000 for some reason. Jameer Nelson. Are they in front offices right now? Jameer Nelson. Can you imagine Mickey Arison being like, guys, today is the end of an era. Pat Riley is gone, but fear not, for Jameer Nelson is taking over as president of basketball operations. Would Andy Ellisberg quit on the spot? Be like, really? I'm a Heat original, baby.
I don't think, just based on how the Heat do things, that it would ever be somebody outside of the building.
Me neither.
Okay.
Me neither. I can't see it. The only person I could ever see doing that is D Wade. If you don't say outside of the building, he's not outside.
He's not really outside of the family. No,
but no, I can't picture anybody that's not. I think it's going to be like an Andy Spo thing. That's always just been the way that I thought it was going to be. An Andy Spo thing. If Spo ever wants to stop coaching, which I don't know that he does because he's a maniac.
He's not going to stop coaching.
You think he's going to do it like Pop? Like he's just going to do it forever? Yeah. You don't ever see a scenario where he's just like, I'm tired of figuring out, how many minutes I got to play Terry Rozier tonight to keep him happy.
I don't think he thinks like that, but yeah, no, I don't. When you've had enough. Like, you just know. Like, I knew when I was done.
Yeah.
I didn't, you got to be honest with yourself.
Date South says Tobin took Ayapasta before bed. I'm telling you, that's what happened to me last night, dude.
Do you dream often?
I dream a lot. But you want to know something, JFig? I only remember the dreams right before I wake up. I don't remember those deep dreams. And then the plenty of times where I am dreaming and I'm like, I'm supposed to be at I just got to get up for work. Like, what's going on right now? Like, I'll do that often with my dreams. But in this particular one, and a lot of times I do dream about, like, broadcasting in my profession. But this one just happened to be an odd one where I was doing PTI with Bob Myers.
I do the dog thing.
Were you running?
I'll be dreaming and I just in the bed. Like, my wife's like, what the hell?
Or when you're falling, like you feel
You
like you're
often dream
falling.
about the third and 37 and you think about Ron Pitts in the background.
No, I don't have dreams like that. I just have dreams like I'm like, get away. I can't get away. Run.
Yeah, I'm with you though, dude. I can't imagine a scenario where the Heat go another reason, but it is interesting. Like, you have the court, the statue. Now there's like these odds floating around. I'm like, all right, is this going to be the last year of Pat Riley? Is this it? And like, you know that he wants to, like, does Pat Riley do some real reckless stuff if it is the last year, or does he just like, all right, I'm just kind of, we're going to let this year be a year of honor. The Heat have done a lot of honoring so far this year as it is. And if this does end up being a mediocre year, is that how Pat Riley goes out?
I don't know.
But he is turning 80, so it's a good round number to leave.
Yeah,
Many years with the was it 30 years in the organization? I don't know, man.
When did he come in? 80 was it 93?
95.
95? Okay.
I was too.
Bob Myers got smoked on the debate floor, by the way.
In your dream or real life, I can't tell.
No, I don't think he's ever really done a debate show. That's why I found it so odd, Dan Day. But now looking at these odds, I'm like, maybe that's why I was thinking of Bob Myers.
Because you saw the odds before you went to sleep?
Yeah.
And you wanted to see what environment I could make fun of him crying?
I'd tell you one
thing.
thing.
You picked PTI?
Bob Myers is not Heat material. He's not Heat material. I know that he's built a champion. Good for him, but no, he's not Heat material. No, thank you. Crybaby.
I just wonder if somebody else takes over, is the first thing they're going to try to fix is the health issues with this team.
Mm.
I mean, you've had a team for 2 or 3 years that can't stay healthy. And at what point do you like just try to get guys going to play 70 games?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
That used to be his thing, though,
Right.
Like, that's the thing, is that's the Pat Riley MO. So it's strange. Take a break. Appropriately, we shift over. Rats off a ship is next.
That's off a ship.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for everybody's favorite Wednesday game, Rats Off a Ship. By the way, the holiday favorite, the Nutcracker, is coming to the Arch Center December 13th through the 24th. We got your tickets. Just go to WQAM.com, enter on the contest page to register to win and get yourself in the holiday spirit. Another thing I saw that was artsy, Leroy, I saw the Nutcracker.
I've seen the Nutcracker before.
Yeah.
I saw it at the Kravis Center last year.
Oh, they usually take you in school to give you some culture.
Yeah.
Middle school. That's what they do in the South. They take you to the orchestra, and they take you to the opera, and they take you to the Nutcracker, and they think they're giving you culture, but you're really just hitting on girls.
For us, because we didn't have girls, if we wanted any type of culture, we would just go to the basketball arena and have our band play, because 9 out of 10 of those guys were going to be some type of musician. We had a really good band. Tobin, my school was known not for all the athletes that went there and famous people, but for the band.
Man.
That's it, the band.
Jennifer. You good? Hold on. Scooby's barking.
Hello.
What do we got today for Rats Off a Ship?
Well, first we have the Texans GM Nick Caserio. Probably said his name wrong. Comments on Al Shaair's suspension. Wow, I can't speak right now. Sorry.
It's a doozy of a name.
It's a long name.
All right, let's hear what Nick Caserio had to say about the suspension of his linebacker.
Some of the commentary that has been made about his character, about the person that he is, about what his intentions are, from people that, quite frankly, don't know anything about Azeez Al Shaair, okay? And for the league to make some of the commentary that they made about lack of sportsmanship, lack of coachability, lack of paying attention to the rules, quite frankly, it's embarrassing. So I think the big thing from and they're talking about a player who's never been suspended, never been ejected. So now we're saying that he's going to be suspended for 3 games?
Wow, he's pissed. Sounds like a guy doing a playoff run.
He does have somewhat of a point, but what I would say is the league went extra hard on the player for reasons. They've never, ever, ever written anything about a player that has been suspended or fined in this way.
Yeah, it was crazy. They said your lack
for
of
a guy who's never for a guy who's never been suspended, it seems like they went after him really, really hard. And so to that standpoint, I would say they have taken a situation that probably deserved a fine, went after the player to try to justify it. And now instead of the hit, we're talking about the response from the league.
They said your lack of sportsmanship and respect for the game of football and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching it is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. Your continued disregard for the NFL playing rules puts health and safety of both you and your opponents in jeopardy and will not be tolerated.
Yeah, that's like they didn't write that about Vontaze Burfict. Think about that. Who was, when it comes to hits, that guy been suspended a few times.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They didn't write that about him.
Mm-mm.
So I think what has ended up happening here in this situation is now we're talking about the comments instead of the actual penalty, which the league should not want. Now, they show that slow-mo right there, and he starts almost at the same time where he starts to slide. Now, I don't know what you're doing that as a football player. I don't know what you do. You see what I'm saying? Because Trevor Lawrence on his ass is the same height as him standing
big boy.
up.
No, he's a big
Right.
boy.
So
big boy, big head.
So how do you avoid, like, what are you supposed to do?
Like, are you supposed to hit him in the chest?
No, I don't know. He didn't even actually hit him with his helmet. He hit him with a forearm.
Yeah.
So to a football player, not going at him with his helmet, that is being safe.
True.
So I don't know. I listen, I understand that in situations like this, we see the severity of it, right? But I think what gets lost in all of these different acts and all of these different plays is that when you're running to tackle somebody, you cannot go over there like he's going to slide. Because when you do, he doesn't.
I'm not rats off a ship on Caserio. I think it's understandable why he's frustrated. It was a very harsh statement.
Right.
Defending his guy. So I'm not rats off a ship.
Yeah, I'm not rats off a ship either.
Jennifer?
I agree. I'm also not rats off a ship.
Dan Day?
Not rats off a ship. You always stand up for your guys, and that's some strong language they were using in the NFL.
Yeah.
No strong language.
They made him sound like he was the Draymond Green of football.
Murderer.
Right.
What else you got, JFig?
The College Football Playoff Committee.
Rats off a ship. I'm rats off a ship on the CFP committee. I'm really rats off a ship on all committees because I do agree with the sentiment. All committees are corrupt. But, you know, I agree. And I've taken accountability for my favorite football team. It's mostly on them, but also flimsy rules from the CFP committee. And it always just feels like, what does Feinbaum want? And then Feinbaum gets to go and dictate the rules and patrol around with his stupid glasses on ESPN. I want Alabama or Roll Tide, you know, and that we don't have that. Who are we going to send? Sedano? Like, who do we send to ESPN to get us a little bit of representation up there? Right. So I'm rats off a ship on the CFP.
I'm not rats off a ship. I'm more rats off a ship on rankings in general. I think the rankings when the season starts the circumstances to which we are at now. And they need to do a better job of ranking these teams when you get to week 5 or 6, so that when you get here, you have a better idea of what these teams are. And that's the problem. The problem is not the end result. The problem is the circumstances in which put you in this. And that is that you rank so many of these teams in the top 10 or 15 that they all get points for playing one another, which they have to do. And then when you get to this moment and you start talking about ranked teams versus unranked teams versus ranked teams, then it becomes more difficult because everybody that you played has been ranked.
JFig, where are your rats with the CFP committee?
I'm rats off a ship.
Rats off a ship.
They're swimming.
Dan?
Rats off a ship.
The reason I'm rats off a ship is, number one, there's no consistency. It's just obvious that they're trying to put in who they want to put in and they don't really care. And also there's no transparency. Why don't they just say, look, we want the highest ratings and the most money, and that's what we're going for. And we like certain teams and we don't like certain teams. Since they're not transparent and they're not consistent, I'm rats off a ship.
You make a good point on that too. Like, they want to be on TV so much. Why don't we have the committee debates on TV? You know, what are we putting on ESPN2 on a Tuesday? Why can't they just air the CFP committee? We want transparency. I agree with you, Dan.
Thank
I like that.
What else we got, JFig?
Cam Ward skipping a non-CFP bowl game.
Has not decided this. Just hypothetically, if he were. Not rats off a ship. If he wants to do it, he's done his part. He was a great Miami Hurricane. Incredible season, record-breaking season. I do not desire to see him in a Pop-Tart bowl and get hurt. It seems beneath him. He has done what he's had to do. Now, do I think that he will? Interesting question, because he's been as they said, the ultimate leader of that team. I don't know if I could see him skipping a bowl game. I'm not sure. Did he skip bowl games for Washington State? I'm not positive on that. But I would have no ill will if he did. So I'm not rats off a ship if he does skip any non-CFP bowl game.
I've already expressed my concerns about players getting the NIL money and then bolting, because I think that should be included in that NIL money that you're getting. But I don't think that he is the type of player that would, because I think he enjoys being a leader on that team. If he does, I'm not going to have any ill will towards him. You do what you have to do. I just think that this is a new phenomenon that we never had this before. And then now all of a sudden you're afraid, if you play football, you could get hurt. Like, I just think that this is 10 years in the making. That's it. Like what has transpired, in 10 years that guys are so fragile that they could get hurt. It's football.
Washington State was not bowl eligible last year.
So has he ever played in a bowl? No.
He played in the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's a thing. Wasn't a great performance, by the way, if you guys were wondering.
Oh, did you?
I have the stats. Yeah, it wasn't.
Right.
But who cares? It's the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
Right.
Imagine if you're Cam Ward, you're like, hey, tell us about your bowl experience, Cam. Like, this guy's like, he's like, well, there's the one Jimmy Kimmel Bowl in LA, Then there was
I think it's. I guess it would have been different for somebody like me that played in 3 Rose Bowls.
You played in the Rose Bowl, dude.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But what about, other guys who don't really look at bowl games the way I do, right? Like, you would have a different, like, you playing in the Weed Whacker Bowl is the highlight of the school that you play for.
If you knew you were first, let me ask you this. If you knew you were a first round pick, but you were going to the Pop-Tart Bowl,
I didn't know that I was leaving, and that wasn't a thing back then.
I'm asking if it was. I'm asking you to put yourself into 2024, and Leroy Hoard, for the star of the Michigan Wolverines, has to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Astro Bluebonnet Bowl.
San Francisco Cafe Frisco Tropical Smoothie Bowl.
Arizona Bowl.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I don't think I could look my friends in the eye and say I'm out.
What if one of your friends told you to?
It doesn't matter. I don't think, because part of my success would have to do with all the guys that I played with, the offensive linemen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would have a hard time going to them and saying, I appreciate what you did, but I'm out. Like, that just is, you talk about the bond that you have with your teammates or whatever, and then you say, I'm out. Is that really a bond, or that's just, I don't, like, again, I've never looked at football and played football like, I'm going to go into this and I hope I don't get hurt. Just play it as long as I can, and when it happens, it happens.
Imagine the interview process with Cam Ward. Why didn't you stick with your teammates in the Pop-Tart Bowl? It's like, I think you just answered your question.
But I just, like, I don't know, like if, like, there's a bond that you have with all these guys,
mm-hmm.
right? And football's the ultimate team sport, and nothing says I'm me and you're you like I'm leaving and I'm not playing and going to war with you this one last time.
That seems very unlike his character.
Right. Right.
But
and it's like, you gotta be, and guess what? You know what's weird about it?
Mm-hmm.
Even before the games, you kind of know the guys, right? You kind of know the guys that aren't gonna play. You get the feeling, right? But here's the other part of this that I think gets lost. Cam's not going to be there. Whoever you have at quarterback now playing behind him can get 10 practices and playing a bowl game before spring.
Right.
So
there's a benefit.
There's a benefit to it, but I don't think that I could, if I knew the guy behind me, and this wasn't the case for me, but if I knew the guy behind me wasn't as good as me or wasn't very good, or I would be putting the rest of my teammates at a disadvantage by not playing, I don't think I could hang them out to dry like that.
JFig, where are your rats with Cam Ward?
I don't know if I'm rat self-ship or not, but I just don't see him skipping out. So
Indecisive rats, not the question, JFig.
She's always indecisive rats.
I'm saying, I don't know. Does that mean I'm rat self-ship or not rat self-ship?
In fact, you could see Indecisive Rats, the band, at Rockville. Dan Day, where are your rats?
Definitely not rats off a ship. Nothing you can really raise your stock by going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You can only do damage. So,
but here's the deal, though, Dan, and I can't say that you're wrong, but there's a part of this where everybody that says he shouldn't play doesn't understand that bond.
Right. But
That's the part of it that even I can't explain what his bond is to the other guys on that team. And so you would feel like you're disappointing them, and that sometimes weighs heavy on you.
But at the same time, you have a bond with that guy, and you probably, for me, I would say, go ahead, man. You don't have to play, to be honest with you.
That's interesting.
There's too much.
Yeah, but what if because like also think of it this way. There's guys on that team that want to be part of an 11-win season.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you explain we were an 11-win season? We didn't have an 11-win season because our quarterback left.
What about like I guess to that point, like what about Restrepo or Arroyo like wanting to have another great game of tape?
What if Restrepo said I'm playing?
I think if Restrepo plays, you got to play.
Right. So what if they all get together and say, hey, you want to ride this out together? We either all in or we all out. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so they come to that decision together where it has nothing. This decision, although it is very about me, has nothing to do with me. It has to do with how I'm going to affect the other guys that I've played with all year.
Luis goes, how far does Cam have to carry these bums? It's not nice, man.
Look, it's easy to get out of it. It's easy to get out of it. You say my mom and my manager won't let me play. Boom, you're done.
My mom and my manager?
Did you guys see the other day that Lamar Jackson came out and said he got reprimanded by his mom afterwards from losing to the Eagles for not being aggressive enough?
For not running more.
Yeah.
He was his manager.
Yeah.
It is his manager.
Hey, I'm telling you what, every game I played football, there was only one guy that I would call after the game, no matter how good or bad I played. And that was my uncle. Every game. And he would tell it like, like nothing worse than running for 100+ yards and then calling him after the game on the way home. And he goes, do you have to fumble every week?
Take a break. Get you caught up with your headlines, and we'll give away those Rockville tickets coming up next hour as well. Back after this.
Go
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. The NFL season is hitting the stretch run. The college football playoff and bowl season is almost here, and the Heat and Panthers are underway. Canes basketball has started. You can keep up with everything and listen to our show on demand and use the rewind feature. Make Tobin and Leroy your favorite show all on the Odyssey app. Free in your app store. You spell it AUDACY. Download the Odyssey app today and make that puppy one of your favorites. Let's get to our headlines, which are brought to you by Doral Kia. At Doral Kia, choose from over 500 new Kia models in inventory like the Sportage, Sorento, and Telluride. Remember, when it comes to Kia, the great deals are at Doral Kia. Mike McDaniel, I believe, is going to speak soon to the media, getting ready for this season matchup, this division matchup against the New York Jets. And then Tua will speak a little bit later. You think we get a spicy Tua? You think we get a reserve Tua today, Leroy? What do you think? How do you feel like Tua's feeling?
I think he's going to be pretty consistent with what he's saying. Just go to work, continue to chop wood or
keep chopping wood, dude.
Keep chopping wood. I don't sometimes they try too much.
Trying to get after it too much. We got Heat basketball tonight. The Heat are taking on the LA Lakers. Heat have lost a couple in a row. They lost to the Raptors and they lost to the Celtics badly. Jimmy Butler expecting to make his return as he was questionable on the injury report, working out last night at the arena that he posted on Instagram. So that's good news. They did send Kel'el Ware to the G League. Not a fan of that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, maybe they just want him to get some time,
Get some time as backup center. Kevin Love is tired. Put Kevin Love out there once a week. Enough of having him as the regular backup center. He's exhausted if he has a day off. What are you going to do? You got a back-to-back coming up. You can't give Kel'el a little bit of run? Can somebody tell me, in the minute minutes Kel'el Ware has played basketball, at what point has he looked embarrassing? When has that happened? It hasn't. Let my guy get a little bit of run-ski. And then just heavens to Betsy. What about the crazy idea?
Whoa. Did you just use a heaven?
Yes, he did.
To Betsy.
Heavens to Betsy. Give him a little bit of run with Bam. Maybe Bam gets to not, bang in the paint for 3 seconds. I don't know. Call me crazy. 7:30 tonight from the Kaseya Center. Kevin Love is tired.
Spo obviously knows more than we do, I guess.
Of course he does. He's a genius, and I have the untrained eye. I'm a stupid boy. I understand this. I'm not going to lash out at him during the game because I already did this once. It was during the Sixers game.
You will, though.
No, I won't. I won't lash out.
Yes, you will. You lash out every game.
I'm not going to lash out. No, I lash out.
Can I just say this?
To the point where I've put your notifications just so I can check you.
Soon as a game starts going sideways, we know what's coming. I was minding my own business. I was not doing nothing. And all of a sudden, bzz, bzz. Oh, Leroy, get your boy. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened.
What?
Oh, no. Yesterday?
That
was a lot. That was so much. I put you guys on mute.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Right?
I'll teach you tomorrow.
Look. Here. Hope the committee enjoys those Christmas bonuses from Tuscaloosa. I'll know when Leroy magically comes in with our new coat courtesy of his boy.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, Leroy is being petty. Wow. I haven't even said anything yet.
This was you and Frog. This is Frog Boy.
Leroy, is that an authentic CFP starter jacket? Who's that?
That was me. I was envisioning Dan Day tomorrow because you knew Leroy Hoard was going to back up his best friend Ward Manuel, Leroy's best childhood friend. And I just imagined Leroy walking in with all this official CFP gear. Leroy, is that an official windbreaker of the CFP?
CFP, Roy. That had to come. Wow, Leroy. a new crimson red pair of headphones. These are sweet.
Yep. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were lashing out at you, but you were taunting us too. You just kept hitting with us as nina nina boo boo, take care of business. I didn't like it.
We
You
had
really
the
did.
wait, Tobin, did we not have the same conversation before the game? Dude, if you lose, you know what's gonna happen. Did
Sick
you
of Alabama
just-
skating?
Wait,
dude. I'm sick
did
of
you not
Alabama.
wait? But before the game, did you not say, "Hey, if you lose this game, this is what's gonna happen"? You know the rules of engagement. You know what the scenario is going to play, how the scenario is going to play out. So the only way to stop it is to take matters into your own hands.
Understood. I get
Okay.
it. But when the damage is done and then we get to the final product to see what I see, and you're sitting here and you're like, you're CFP, Roy. I'm sorry. You're like Mr.
Right.
CFP all of a sudden with your
So we
pom
go back
poms.
and forth for forever. I'm not arguing with a grown-up. He's a child, a sign stealer.
That was a low blow.
So-
I apologize.
So I replied, a national champion. Guess what? No words. He just says asterisk.
You guys went off last night.
He got him on, he was taking cheap shots. And
You
so I
guys- not with these malarkey rules, right?
ridiculous.
I said, what, football rules? Like, there was no college football playoff rules last Saturday at 3:30.
21-0.
Oh my goodness. And then you just went like, then enjoy the G League, Kel'el. Now you just lash out at every sport. Like you just like, yeah. Yeah, they're like, man.
Sorry.
You just went. You
I
just
did end it with I need to crush Podcast Boy tonight. That's JJ Redick for those who don't know. Not
Oh my goodness. What in the world?
what kernels of wisdom is he gonna bring tonight?
I do like that JJ Redick has zero coaching experience.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think he coached his kids in like third grade basketball.
JJ Redick, they were saying they put this out because Darvin Ham was like drew the ire of every Lakers fan. They hated Darvin Ham. They have the same record through their first 22 games, or saved through their first 21 games. Same record, samesies.
Didn't Darvin Ham bring him to the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, but LeBron hated him.
Well, I mean, LeBron hates everyone. That's the scapegoat.
And that was the thing that, the first thing, if you watch the starting five on Netflix, which many of you did not, and I don't blame you. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, it wasn't that
Jimmy was the
exciting.
only compelling person in the show.
Yeah.
But LeBron, like the first thing that you could see he hated with Darvin Ham is Darvin Ham trying to limit his minutes. And he goes, nah, we're not doing that. He like let it play for a game. And now all of a sudden JJ Redick's like, well, maybe we shouldn't have LeBron play all the games. Okay. Good luck, Good luck, podcast.
I mean, and listen, the thing about sports is you have to go into it with a certain attitude. Okay. But as you see things playing out, you can change and kind of go with the flow. So you see LeBron has no lift. You see he looks, then you got to give him a break. It's simple as that.
He misses 4 3-pointers in a row tonight. He breaks the record for the NBA's most consecutive missed 3-pointers.
The NBA record?
Yeah.
Not a LeBron record, an NBA record?
NBA record.
Oh, that's good. I'd love to be there for that record.
Well, you were here for the big three. You've seen LeBron play over the years. What do you remember most? I saw one night where he broke the NBA record for most missed threes in a row.
I've seen his highest. I've seen his lowest. I would love it. Who amongst could say they've been in the building for LeBron's highest and lowest? I was there for LeBron's best performances. I was there for his worst.
Full circle.
Imagine that text chain after all of that.
Listen, I have nothing against LeBron. I really don't. I'm not an anti-LeBron fan. I would like the full picture to be painted, but that's okay. Yeah, I wish him nothing but success. I had nothing against Bronny, going to his to his team. I was all for LeBron using his power and influence to help his kids. I think that's great. I'm not Team Petty on LeBron anymore. I've moved on. Quite frankly, he's not even the pettiest person I have on the team. That's JJ Redick. Because I have nothing against JJ Redick. It's just enough of JJ Redick. He's just
You always say that.
No, but it really is nothing against JJ Redick. I'm just like, it's just, how has this guy gotten to skate and get that far in life already with a podcast? It's ridiculous. You realize Chris Quinn is going to go out there, Dan Day, today. He's going to grind and set Duncan Robinson up. Still today at 5:30 p.m., he's going to go out there and shag rebounds from Duncan Robinson. Well, they have like 9 ball boys, but you know what I mean. He's going to give Duncan Robinson the basketball to shoot the basketball. How many times has JJ Redick been out there shagging basketballs? Zero, dude.
Why?
And I have to sit here and listen to him like
your
basketball
biggest gripe,
savant.
your biggest gripe with him is that he doesn't shag balls in pregame.
He never shagged balls. He never had to get into the nitty gritty of it. And let me tell you something. Chris Quinn, that's a man who's wanted nothing but the best for Duncan Robinson. You want to know who wanted the worst for him? JJ Redick. That's why he made Duncan Robinson a podcast host. Ruined his career. Well, didn't ruin his career. It just kind of deterred his career. You know, he's like, oh, you know what you should be? You should be like me. I'm JJ Redick. I have podcasts. And what did Duncan Robinson do? Have a podcast. Made everybody mad at him. We made fat cat memes.
We?
Yeah.
No.
You want to know who's looking out for him?
You made those memes.
I don't know where you got those. Maybe from Heat Reddit. Let me tell you something. The one person who was there when he was down on his luck, who was always there for Duncan Robinson, you guessed it, Chris Quinn. Still shagging his balls.
Oh. Really?
Please clip that.
Jeez.
But JJ, you think JJ Redick tries to say hello to his former podcast host today? Oh, how's the podcast going, Duncan?
They probably went and ate dinner yesterday.
Not great.
No. Duncan Robinson would only have dinner with Chris Quinn. He goes, no, thanks, JJ. I know who my real friends are.
He wouldn't go with his podcaster?
No, he just wanted to. He's like, oh.
Hey, you know what's amazing?
What's that?
What if he trades for Duncan Robinson?
For Gabe Vincent? Like, who are they trading? Like, what's the trade?
I don't know.
I think you know what I think? I think JJ Redick hates Gabe Vincent.
What gave that away?
I've seen some of the quotes. Seems to really not like the guy.
What are the quotes? What do they say?
He's like, you know, he would like infer to players like not shooting at all during a game. And you like look at the box score and like, oh, who didn't shoot? Gabe Vincent. So like he's trying to be sneaky about it. But again, nothing against the guy. Like, good for you being this far in life. I have nothing against JJ Redick. I'm just like, you know, I'm just a little, miffed by the rocket start.
He did most likely rat out like the Pelicans and the Heat kind of at one point when he ended his career, saying there was tampering involved in the Kyle Lowry situation.
That's right. He did do that.
And he basically said he ratted him out, but he didn't directly say it, but in a round way. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
It's a lot of things that just rub his hair just in general. It's extra moosed.
So
the tattoos.
What the hell is wrong with you?
You have nothing against him.
Like, no, you know,
he's gone out for more than 5 minutes.
When he says, I have nothing against JJ Redick, but
then goes on a full
why
rant.
do we all have to strap in?
Remember when he tried to get Duncan Robinson to get a tattoo? He's like, oh, you should get a sleeve like me, Duncan Robinson. Be like JJ Redick. No, let him be his own person. He's not JJ Redick. You had your time, JJ Redick.
Oh my goodness, you are the worst. Why, like, and then somebody has the audacity to say that he feels about JJ Redick like I feel about Aaron Rodgers. No, there's
you
one.
hate Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you're right.
There's one big difference. I was right.
Well, I mean, the time will tell if I'm right. We'll see.
No. I was right because this started before the season, like I said.
Take a break. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy. We'll give away those Rockville tickets at the end of this segment, so stay tuned. Back at it tonight. Be boots on the ground for Heat and Lakers. Big week for the Heat coming on up. They got the Lakers at home, the Suns on Saturday, and the Cavs on Sunday. Oh, did Durant get hurt yesterday? I don't know. I think he messed up his ankle yesterday, so I'm not sure if.
Here's a shocker.
Not sure how long that's going to be out for KD. Yeah, that's not great. He left before halftime, sprained left ankle. They would know more sometime this morning. So I guess we'll find out more on KD. But keep an eye on that, Leroy, going into that Suns game with the Durant. Then you got old busybody mouth himself, Bradley Beal. You know, remember the Heat didn't want me. Enough of him. I'll tell you who's playing well in the West, though, is this Rockets team. But last night, Ime Udoka, he got pissed.
What happened?
Well, he was upset with some foul calls, and him and Şengün, they both got hit with the old double T's. They got the heave-ho out of the game, Leroy. And this was Ime Udoka after the game.
Wasn't too happy about the officiating there. What was going on? What did you see out there on the floor that you was disappointed?
And missed calls, blatant missed calls right in front of you. You're calling ticky-tack, moving screens, and little shit like that, and then you don't want to call the obvious ones right in front of you. So that was it. Alpi got fouled a few times on that drive and on the layup, and they don't want to call it. And so I'm get some glasses, open your eyes.
How important is it in those moments for you to stand up for your team so that they know you have their back?
I mean, it wasn't even about that, honestly. Alpi got one, but take your sensitivity and emotions out of it and call the game the right way. It's obvious right in front of you, and John Goble, whoever it was, sees it and doesn't call it, I'm gonna let him know about it.
Did John say anything in your conversation that kind of escalated it for you?
No, been missing calls all night and calling moving screens and every other little touch call the obvious one.
Telling a ref to get bleeping glasses is always going to be funny.
And also garner the largest amount of punishment I would say coaches and players are sometimes in a bad spot because he's right about one thing. If he feels a foul on the other end, it's ticky-tack. And then you get on your side and he doesn't call it. Like, aren't you allowed to be upset because it's not consistent?
It's one of the things that drives me.
And it's crazy that they get their feelings hurt and get sensitive over it when you could watch the film or watch the game and see, okay, he's got a point, but you can't say nothing to the officials. Now, everybody else in the sport is accountable. Hell, they right after the game, they went right to Spo. What the timeout, Spo? What about the timeout? Guess what? The way you handle people being better in their workplace is holding them accountable so they don't have to deal with it the next time. But if these officials can go in any sport, just botch the game or just make all these mistakes and just run into the tunnel and not have to deal with the consequences, they think their consequences are, oh, now I won't have to do a playoff game. That ain't consequences.
Is it not consequences?
No.
They don't get paid per game?
They're under salary. So they yes, and the playoffs are extra.
I tell you who, nobody has more security getting to their rooms and back than the referees. They got a whole police squad taking them back. And when you try and walk down, Leroy, they're like, clear the hall, clear. I'm like, whoa, all right. And they're like, you would think the president is walking by. All right, Ed Malloy is good. Let him through. What I'm basically like that. Ed Malloy has more protection than Jimmy Butler or LeBron James getting to the locker room tonight. Let him through.
But
it's
one of the things that drives me crazy about officiating in all sports, right? Is that these players these coaches, all the people on the court have to be accountable for their actions, either with you giving them a foul, a tech, getting kicked out of the game, the points they score, the defense, the plays being called by the coaches, the timeouts being used. Everybody's being held accountable for that whole game, except the officials. And they can have an impact on the game if they're not being consistent. And I've been around good officials, and I've had an official come to me and say, hey, next time that's a penalty, right? I've heard him say it to linemen. Hey, next time, okay? Hey, tackle, move up. They usually give you a warning if you try to get back because of that pass rusher.
How many warnings do you think they given to Julian Hill this year?
About what?
Everything.
He's like, he need to just go straight from football to MMA because he's a hell of a grappler. I ain't gonna lie.
You can see him at bare knuckle.
No, well, yeah, because he keeps his fist. You don't have to catch it.
Oh no!
So,
all right,
yeah,
we've come to that time. It's a Tobin and Leroy exclusive. The music festival. Welcome to Rockville. Is coming to Daytona International Speedway in May. And right now, caller number 7 to 305-567-0560 is going to win a 4-day general mission pass to see Rockville, Shinedown, Weasel War, Green Day, Lincoln Park, and a whole lot more. Korn is going to be there. You check them on out, and you win this pair of 4-day general mission passes. You're entered for the grand prize, which is a Rockville holiday mystery box. So keep on listening to our show, and you will get this going on for the rest of the week. If you want details on how you can get tickets to Welcome to Rockville, you don't win, go to welcometorockville.com, and you can get your info there. What's your look there, JFig?
What was that band? Weasel
War? Yeah, everybody loves Weasel War.
War?
Yeah, War, yeah.
Like WAR?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Everybody knows about that band, dude. Rockville.
I got to check them out.
You should.
These are great tickets, by the way.
Yeah.
This is quite possibly one of our biggest giveaways, I think.
I'm telling you. Check out their hit single,
I wanna
Pop
go.
Goes the Metal.
Pop goes.
Yep. Weasel War. Anyway, caller 7, 305-567-0560 is going to win those pair of 4-day general mission passes to Rockville, and then you're entered for the grand prize. We'll take a break. Final segment coming on up. Back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy back with you here. Take you guys up until 2.
Jennifer, you need to get out.
Hmm?
You need to get out of the house because I know damn well you ain't been outside.
I have.
No, you haven't.
Why would you say
No,
that?
'cause look at how we're dressed and look at how you're dressed.
Listen, I'm always dressed this way. You're always dressed like that because you're always cold. I'm not always cold.
It was chilly this morning.
I like chilly.
Okay. Okay. Get outside. That's all I'm gonna say.
You guys want to see an image that's going to make the Dolphin fan furious?
What?
Saw this on Omar's Twitter. Brian Flores today at his press conference wearing an Andrew Van Ginkel T-shirt. Damn.
I don't like it.
I'm not, you know what? It's kind of like nobody ever questioned whether Brian Flores was a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever questioned that.
It's the Van Ginkel T-shirt.
But yet the Van Ginkel T-shirt.
That's what hurts.
That hurts because if I would if I even swallow my pettiness about Christian Wilkins, right? If I let that go, because I know you got to make some decisions, I'm still not over the fact that with no pass rushers, you let Van Ginkel go.
Man.
Right? No pass rushers. You at the time when the season ended, he was your only viable pass rusher, and you let him go.
Killer, man.
So and I'm just thinking along these lines, maybe you had a plan to get somebody in the draft, but I would hate to go into a draft without having at least a pass rusher.
Van Ginkel, 9 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 2 pick sixes.
There. Yeah. How would that work on this team? Just
pretty awesome. Be pretty great. I would like that a lot.
And how much would it have cost you?
Dade South says, stop lurking on your ex's IG. Let it go. How could you let that hair go, Dade South?
I've had like personal feelings about players that have left. Okay. I am angry at this decision because it wasn't very practical. Okay. It wasn't a reach to sign Van Ginkel, who was your best pass rusher at the end of the season. Your best. It wouldn't have been that hard to re-sign him. And the coach who had him here knew exactly what he was. So if I look at this team now, I would say you could have used Van Ginkel more than a lot of players, but the players you had to put in the secondary is also a big issue. Holy smokes.
Says Flores was wearing the T-shirt. It's a T-shirt for flood relief in Iowa. I don't even know they had water in Iowa.
Do you know? Yeah.
He says, this is my Van Ginkel shirt. It can be purchased at the team store. All proceeds go for flood relief in Iowa. Figured I'd show Gink a little love because he's been playing some good ball.
Hey.
What?
Dude. No water in Iowa?
Come on, man. Davenport?
How do you think you
is that
grow?
a city in Iowa?
Never heard of Davenport, Iowa? Tri-City?
Remember, this show is not good with geography, by the way.
No, I am not good at geography.
They're not good.
By the way, Shams is just waiting on Kevin Durant. He will be reevaluated in 1 week. Ergo, the Heat will not face him this week.
Don't worry. When they don't have their star, it's the other guys that end up shooting lights out. What are you talking about?
Gotta worry. That means Bradley Beal's going to go off for 40.
Right. What about Book?
Oh, Book. Well, I'll tell you who killed us the last game was that damn Nurkic.
The Moose. Let's send all our big guys down to the G League, though.
The Bosnian Beast, he calls himself on Twitter. Jeez.
Bosnian Beast.
That just sounds like rebounds.
Sounds like he was wearing a tracksuit when we went to that fight. Dude, I'm telling you.
Excuse me.
And you know the worst thing, if you like at a football game or at one of these boxing matches, you sitting in the middle of the row. Your seats could be great, but everybody's walking in front of you.
Oh, dude, there's this guy fighting this weekend in the co-main at UFC. Shavkat Rakhmonov, undefeated. I think he's 14-0 with 14 finishes. But he's like, it's even Steven on subs and knockouts. Like he had one. He was gonna win by decision. He dominated this guy for 3 rounds and just threw a choke in him in the last 45 seconds.
That's insult to injury.
Just like, I got to keep the finish streak going. So he's fighting Ian Gary, this Irish striker. They trained together a little bit down here in Deerfield Beach.
Aren't Irish, they're considered like just super tough?
Yes.
Like every time I think of it, I always think of their fights where one of them's like all bloodied up, but he ain't quitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So apparently they trained together. Rakhmonov says that he choked him out in training. But
so he choked him out in training.
Yeah. They're fighting the co-main this week. And then they got the, I had to sell you on that because the main event's 2 125-pounders.
Oh my goodness. The ants.
It's a good fight though, dude. They got this Kai Asakara that he's making his UFC debut. He was a 135er in Japan, but apparently Japan doesn't believe in weight cutting, so he's truly in America a 125er, and he's fighting Pantoja, who's been the flyweight champ now for a few fights. She'll be a good card.
I'm just telling you, like,
and Rakhmonov.
I just pictured 2 ants over a piece of cake fighting each other when I think of 125, because they're like they're very active.
Mm-hmm.
They punch a lot, but they can't hurt each other.
And Rakhmonov, Leroy, he wears this hat, dude. He's got like this hat. It's like it's made of fox, I think, or wolf. It's breathtaking when you see him walk to the ring with it. It's like, I'm like, oh, that's a look right there. And then he brings an extra one to put on Joe Rogan's head.
Really?
Yep.
Oh. I mean, he does kind of look like the like was the Reverend, like he killed a fox yesterday and he wearing him as a hat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, I think that's what you do in Kazakhstan as a child. Like they have in Russia, Khabib fought the bears, and I think in Kazakhstan, I think you fight a wolf as a child. I think that's how it goes.
Bare hand fight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did you fight as a child?
Poverty.
Chicken fingers.
Oh my.
Donuts. Fought a box. See, y'all don't know Dan Day. See, in New Orleans, we have all these bakeries, right? But you have this magical thing. It's called Deo's.
My favorite.
You can get donuts. You used to get donuts for 25 cents.
Oh, you get a honey bun.
Yeah.
You get a bag of those donuts. And let's see, like one of those little half pies, those Hubig's pies. For like
yeah.
Still have a quarter left.
Like
over.
when I lived in New Orleans East, the bunny bread was right there. You could go right into the bunny bread and get the day old bread, the bread they didn't put on the truck. They used to sell it there, and you could get like at the time if a loaf of bread cost $1, you get it for like 50 cents. So mom would give us a $5 bill, say go get some bread and whatever. Look at my brother and said, listen, if we walk over to bunny bread, she ain't gonna know where this bread is from.
You fill up a shopping cart with $5 at day old.
Yeah, all the little snacks and oh my goodness, made it.
This hat is called a Red Fox Furs Mongolian Kazakhstan Eagle Hunters hat. Wow.
You know what that sounds like? And somebody getting their ass kicked. You put that hat on, somebody got to go. Really? Because this is like, yeah, nobody don't want to hear the story behind that hat. Looking at that dude.
I think they're big into Falcons over there too.
Falcons.
Yeah, not Atlanta.
Isn't what was Tyson into? Doves?
Pigeons.
Pigeons. Is that like
so weird?
That's a hell of a hobby.
They're his buddies. They're his piece. I'm excited about this card.
Are you?
Yeah.
What do we got? What do we got this weekend? We got championship week.
We got championship week. I got UFC 310 this weekend.
I want chaos. I'm gonna be honest with you. Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jennifer. We expect to see you on Friday.
What's Friday?
Friday. Just don't worry about it. We got to do something.
What's Friday?
Where's Frog Boy? Is he?
I don't know. He's like part time as they go. Who knows?
Yep.
I'll be there tomorrow. What's Friday?
All right, fine. Never mind. Just me and you, Tobes.
Yeah, Frog Boy's not going to be here
on Friday.
Not going to be here Friday because he asked me to work, and I was like, "Nah, that's my day off, man. I got to go get some things done."
I don't know what Frog Boy's up to. He's up to.
When you say I'm going to get some things done, do you mean you just sleep in?
No, no, indeed. You can ask Tobin. When I say I got things cooking or I got things,
I wish I could show you. I'll show you after the show what he's got going on over here.
What a day I'm having already.
It's incredible. This is, you guys have honestly missed the best day in studio ever.
Oh, it's been
what we have going on right now. Yep.
It's been
we got people visiting.
Sort of.
Yeah, people.
I did see someone backstage.
People, pretty crazy, dude. We got it all going on for us over here.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what do we got? We don't have nothing. But Heat play tonight. Then we got a really good game tomorrow. Football game.
What's Thursday Night Football tomorrow?
It is the who played last Thursday? Because they're going Thursday.
Is it Lions? Somebody in the
Lions
Lions?
and Packers.
That's a good game. All right,
Yeah.
they get a full week's rest too, so that should be a good game.
Right.
That should be a good game.
Can I just tell you, like, even if you don't like Detroit, you got to love this team, right?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it crazy?
They just do what they want.
Pretty much.
Wade is saying that
Whoa.
What? We got to go, dude.
I don't think it's going to be able to bring that up. Yeah.
No time.
Gotta go. Bye.
Oh.
Huh.